PSVR 2.
And oh, did you? Yeah, we're live now. Hey, what's up, everybody?
Oh.
Welcome to Xbox Ultimate Podcast, episode number 108. And I want to say thank you to everybody for being here in the chat. You guys all freaking rock, as always. Thanks also on Twitter to everybody who reached out for the support. Yes, today we did have a loss in the family of ours. We lost our cat, who I've had for almost 22 years. He's 22 years old. I've had him almost 22 years. So it was kind of a tough day for us, but I still wanted to have the show. For one reason, it's a good distraction, and like to just kind of, go have some fun talking about some games and stuff like that, and with some of my best buds here, and say hello to everybody out there in the chat as well. You guys all rock again. So shout out to RSJ, Alvin, Talos Ray, Ghost Fixter, Wilfrey Rosario. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for hopping in here all the time. Community support from this community is absolutely astounding always, and you guys never cease to surprise me. So appreciate you all. And speaking of some good news here, hey, we got somebody back. We've been missing this guy for a few weeks now, and he has weathered a storm. He's weathered a hurricane. He's been moving truckloads full of stuff for family members, and he's been beat to hell and back, but he is back with us now. The mellow fellow from outer space. Welcome back, Psychonauts.
Thank you. It's great to be back. I don't want to move ever again. So, if anyone asks, I am sorry, but I will not help you guys move. I do apologize. But on that, I've been playing some games here and there. I was actually able to play the beta of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 for a brief stint. I did not reach level 30, only because my brother's little ones were crying anytime I hopped on the Xbox. So I was very limited to my gameplay. But other than that, I had fun. I've been playing that Ni no Kuni. Yeah. Fun game. Digging that a lot. So I've been just vegging out in that because there's still no gas in Florida, apparently, because that's one thing they forgot to do is get gas.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Or did everyone take it all?
Oh yeah, no, everyone used it all up, and then they forgot to, like, oh yeah, there's a hurricane possibly coming, so we can't fill up. So now I'm stuck, stranded here.
Yeah, that sucks. Did you have any bad flooding where you're at?
Not where I'm at, thank goodness. We had some really high winds, some tree branches that came down the yard. Neighbor down the street, tree fell over, little stuff like that, but nothing drastic. All the structural houses are still standing, so good on that. Oh, and update, my friends that were in Cape Coral did finally reach out, and they are fine. They had to wait till they were able to charge up the phones and be able to put out messages saying, hey, we're cool.
So, I hear the cell coverage has been spotty lately there as well.
Yeah.
Right now, so well, it's good to have you back, dude. We've been missing that psycho energy, that random stuff that you bring every week. So I'm glad you're here, man. I appreciate you, dude. We got the always fuzzy one himself, Fuzzy Belvedere. What's up, Fuzz?
Hey, what's up, everyone? Glad to be here, man. Oh man, just this week in news has been out there as far as people crying on Twitter. Still atting the president and CMA and whatnot, and just a whole bunch of random stuff going on. We got to pour out some alcohol for Stadia, but we'll get into all that. But man, just so glad to be here. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Let's do this.
Yeah, dude. Lots of crazy news and a lot of like random news that's not really news, of people reposting old news, making new news out of old news, and then also a bunch of weird takes on not news to make news as well. I don't really understand sometimes what goes on Twitter and social media and what the gaming community circles around. But it seems like there's a lot of things that are reach at times. But we can kind of go into some of that. We have the sweatiest lore master there is. The lore master Jasper. What's up, dude? You didn't post your Call of Duty stats on Twitter because you're too damn modest. You don't think you're good enough or whatever. And I was like, dude, you're freaking ridiculous. And I had to also post it for my own like.
Yeah, you posted mine as the starting tweet so you can draw people in.
Yeah, well, no, I posted it to have. I needed an excuse for why I didn't have as many kills on mine. And if people understand, well, Jasper was the one getting all the damn kills constantly the whole time we're playing, right? But you can see I was still winning. You know, I was still winning, but it was your fault for getting all the damn kills, and I wasn't able to get any kills. So I blame you. I blame Steel for being too damn good and put me in these sweaty ass lobbies. And although you're still getting 50, 60 kills a damn match. But yeah, dude, I posted them for you just so everybody can see when we say that Jasper's got skills. I'm not lying.
I know. I wish they would have showed the KD on those stats because I'm pretty sure in the beta I was over 2.0 KD. So this is like probably the best beta I've had.
Best beta yet? Yeah, you're gonna kill it when the game comes out for sure. If you want to, guys, I know you like to hang out a lot of times on my streams and like to hang out and stuff like that, and I appreciate every single one of it. If you actually want to watch somebody who's good at the game on another level, make sure you check out Jasper playing Call of Duty. I anticipate there's gonna be lots of content coming up here when that game releases, right?
I was gonna drop another like short thing and then post one of the gameplays like this weekend or this week coming up. So
yeah, Chris says only over 2.0. I was over 9.6 KD. Would you play like one match, Chris?
You get 10 kills and then stop.
That's funny. That's crazy. That's like god level 10 KD, bro. All right, so we got lots of stuff to talk about. One of the things I wanted to get into this week was Xbox's holiday season coming up, because you know it's that time now. Like September is over after today, right? We have October and November and December coming up, and that's for platforms. That's usually the busiest time of the year, right? For big releases, all the usually big releases launch in those time periods. Maybe not as much this year. A lot of big releases are launching early 2023 because of all the delays. But wow, there's still so many things coming in October and November and December. So I thought it'd be a good time to kind of look ahead and give the Xbox fans out there a glimpse at what we have in store over the next couple months. Now, this isn't granted. There's maybe some surprises coming our way as well. Games that are maybe about to be revealed that haven't been even revealed yet, which sounds crazy, but rumors are that's going to happen. And other things. So want to start off with, let's go into October here. And we'll kind of like get some highlights and what you guys are excited for October coming up. Overwatch 2 is releasing officially. That's a pretty big release to a lot of people. Any hype level around that here?
Well, I'll play it for a day. We'll see if it lasts any longer than that. But
what about you, Fuzz?
No, it's not on my list just yet. I guess when they have more of the campaign aspect that they said they were going to do for Overwatch 2, maybe, but I'm not much of an arena shooter type of person,
right?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, this is like a it's kind of a sequel, but in some ways it's not. It's like it's a transition from Overwatch 1 to 2 becoming free to play. Most of the characters I think are
every character, every map is pretty much carried over, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's some new characters.
There's like 3 new heroes, maybe.
Okay. I'm not sure on the details on it. It doesn't feel as much of a sequel as it necessarily should be when they're adding the word 2 in there. It seems like more of an excuse to transition to the free-to-play model, right? This is a future Xbox franchise if this Activision Blizzard deal goes through. Psycho, is this on your radar for excitement? You gonna play it? No.
No.
Why is there such a lack of Overwatch excitement out there? It's like nobody's really talking about it.
I played Overwatch back when it first came out, and that was the extent. It was not really my cup of tea at all. The kids liked it a lot, so that's I played it with them, but it was just I don't know. I just didn't like it. And then when I played the beta, I was like, it's the same damn game, but with a couple new characters. I mean, some of the mechanics they changed, but it's really I don't know what took them so long to get this out. Like really, I don't get it because there's like it almost looks like no effort was done to give us a new game. You know, everything's reused, characters, everything. I think they said that couple new animations, but I'm like, really? It's that game came out back on I think 2017, 2016. I want to say.
Like that. Yeah.
And they like did like what have they been doing since? Like
They
other
put out
than
like one new character every like 6 months or something.
yeah, but I'm saying like with Overwatch 2, like what have they done with Overwatch 2?
The beta was very popular, like wasn't it? Was a lot popular in streams and stuff like that.
I don't remember, to be honest. I just kind of boring.
I think it has a chance to take off and become a surprise. You know what I mean?
It's a relaunch, pretty much.
Yeah, that's a good example of it. A relaunch. Try and get that Overwatch community reinvigorated in the brand again, right? I'm gonna give it a go. I liked the first game. I didn't play a ton of it, you know, but I did like it. I thought it was fun. So and an excuse for another game to dive into and check out and see what I like or don't like about it. Is there new maps? Like
there's maybe like one or two. There's not much. But I mean there's probably new stuff that in Overwatch 1 that you haven't played because it's been out for 5 years or whatever. So
Calorie said the beta had like 1.2 million people watching it on Twitch, which is nuts.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's because they were giving away fucking beta codes or whatever, so you could like win a beta code. So everyone was wanting a code for it.
Yeah,
yeah.
So, but it's one of those games that if either you love it or you hate it. It's not one of those like I'll play it. That's
I'm in between on it. Like I don't like love it and I don't hate it. I'm just kind of like, oh, that's a fun game. And when I played it, but like I like the dwarf guy. What's his name? Or whatever his name is. Like that has the that has the turrets and stuff. But they kind of changed his mechanics last time I tried diving in, and I was confused.
They've reworked a lot of the characters over the years.
So I think there's like a good reason to dive back in and check it out when it launches. It could take off again, like that many people playing the beta, like Calorie said, like if this game takes off, this could be a huge successful franchise in the future for Xbox as well. Right. Another free-to-play shooter out there that's going to do numbers. Right.
I just got an email today about it saying the pre-download went live. So I don't know if that's only on PC or what, but I saw the email saying that.
Unless they have all this content they worked on it and they're waiting to release it, so they have a steady flow of content coming, so they can work on new content. And so that's what they could have done, because I know they changed the loot. There's no more loot boxes.
No,
it's like I think
really?
They
changed that?
Okay. Yeah, because in the EU it was considered gambling, right, Jasper?
The problem though with Overwatch is you can't add too much stuff too quickly, because it's also a major esport and players like compete for millions of dollars with that. And if you just drop 15 new characters, the whole meta of that season is going to be like trying to be figured out mid-season, and it's just people are going to be complaining. So
how long have the seasons traditionally lasted? 6 months.
I think it's probably like a whole year. I think they usually do like 3 months in like Australia, 3 months in Europe, 3 months in America, maybe, and then like they kind of come together the last 3 months of the year, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Like
it's something like that, but
maybe cycles onto something with seasonality. I'll use that word that Halo 343 made up, right? Maybe they're going to have more frequent updates because of the free to play model as well, right? More ways to make money, right? As always. So that's Overwatch 2. That is it. Regardless of who's excited for it or not, it's a pretty damn big release, right? And the beta was supposedly crazy.
I think they've switched from 6v6 to 5v5 Calorie, not 5v5 to 4v4. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, they did change to 5v5, so it's more balanced, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right on. So then we got Then we got, okay, let me go through. I'm trying to pick out some of the bigger releases on Xbox. One of these, which I know is coming to Xbox, it's some reason Game Informer even neglects to mention the word Xbox sometimes when these games are releasing. Asterigos Curse of the Stars is releasing on Xbox, correct?
What'd you say?
Asterigos? Is that how you say it? Asterigos?
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
It was a old
The Curse of the Stars.
Yeah, it's an older game that's like coming back, right? Is that right, Fuzz?
I believe so.
Is it Abstergo?
Asterigos? Yeah, maybe. Is that how you say it?
Abstergo from Assassin's Creed?
No. I've been seeing this on the Xbox dashboard, and I remember like when this was news that it was coming back or something. This franchise from like the 360 era or something, and people got pretty excited about it.
Okay. No.
Is it already out on Xbox?
Abstergos. Yeah, I see it
Maybe.
now. Asterigos,
Yeah.
Curse of the Stars.
Yep.
Yeah. It comes out October 10th.
Okay. Yeah, that's
8
one
PM.
that a lot of people were talking about. I remember that like it wasn't too long ago. There's some excitement about it from some people out there. Not necessarily
Almost,
for me,
it almost looks like Phoenix Immortal Rising, like the main character
a little bit.
with the red hair and the outfit. Maybe that's where they got their idea from.
We got FIFA launching this week.
Yeah.
We also have, let's see, what else is coming out? Big games, WRC Generations. There's a fan base for that, for sure. Scorn, that's a big one. Okay, so Scorn is hitting on October 14th on Series XS, Xbox One, and PC. And is that coming to PlayStation day and date or PlayStation later?
I think it's coming later.
Right, because it's not on the game. I
think they get the timed exclusive on Xbox.
Yeah, because right now, it's only stated for PC and Xbox at the moment.
Right. Okay, so that one, oh, that's right, and that is a Game Pass game day one, right? So, Scorn is one that a lot of people are excited about. This game was originally revealed a couple years back at one of the E3 showcases from Xbox, and it was like next gen gameplay revealed type event, right? Everybody was like, what the hell is that? It looks so gruesome and dark and gross, but in a good way. But yeah, Scorn's finally going to hit, and they just moved the release date up. It was supposed to release on the 21st. They moved it up to the 14th, which was interesting. Remember, Gotham Knights moved from the 28th to the 21st, or 25th to the 21st, and now Scorn's moving from the 21st to the 14th. So Scorn, guys, horror fans, Psycho. Yeah,
there's so many freaking games in October, dude.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. But yeah, I actually watched it's a YouTuber. His name is Hollow, and I watched. He had almost a 30-minute clip of the game. Like it was a little bit of the prologue, and then it went into the prelude. Sorry, and then into the game. And holy shit. It's so freaking freaky, and the atmosphere in it is just, it's one of those games that it's kind of like Alien Isolation, where there's no music, there's no nothing. It's just the ambient noise and everything just being squishy in sound when you walk over whatever, and then when you stick your hand into a hole, and and goo comes out, and it's so freaking weird. There is no tutorial. It is one of those games that you just dive in and just start playing. He did state that at first it was like a little bit of a curve trying to figure out, but once you start getting an understanding of what you have to do, it's easier. It kind of just like falls into place, and you know what you need to do to the point, because you kind of if you see the structure, you know what to do with this structure, and so on and so forth. So it's really interesting watching like the first 30 minutes, and I'm just like, oh yeah, lights out, headphones on, blasting, just playing that's going to be some really good Halloween vibes going on.
Yeah. What about you, Fuzz? Scorn, like day one on that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's that level of weirdness and creepiness that I can definitely play around with type of deal. But the I guess there was like the bullet teeth and just the weird looking creatures that you're going to encounter and all these different like access type panels where it's almost like you have to stab your hand or like Psychonauts was saying, stick your hand in holes and things like that, and watch like goo ooze out type of deal. It just looks like it's going to be like that weird kind of fun type of game. But yeah, I'm glad they kind of moved it up, so at least it gives you a little bit more time to kind of fit in gameplay of that. Then switch over to what do you call them? I forget the other game, the Plague's Tale Requiem, and then like a couple of days after that, you got Gotham Knights. So it's like that whole week or around that time frame is just going to be stacked. But I'm glad they at least gave it a couple of days that you can at least try it out, see if you like it, see if it's a little too strange or if it's just the right kind of strange.
Yeah, man.
Because you got on the same day, you got 2K23 coming out.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, PGA 2K, right?
Yeah, and then Ghostbusters
and NHL 23 also. So there's 2 sports games.
Yeah.
So
NHL too.
NHL's coming out that day, which is a really good. I mean, it's really popular, especially
Ball.
in Canada and parts of Europe. But like that's in the US, even that's a really popular sports game. NHL, I actually
that used
one
to be one
best.
of the better sports games.
It was like I got hooked on the NHL for years, actually playing the EA Sports Hockey League. So that the PGA game, and there's another Nickelodeon kart racers game coming that same day.
Star Trek Prodigy.
Yeah. Dragon Ball, the Breakers, a Dragon Ball game comes out that day too. I don't know what that is.
That's kind of like Dead by Daylight or whatever.
Yeah.
A Dragon Ball game that's like Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
What?
So you have one of those like I think it's like the green. I haven't watched Dragon Ball in years. It's the green Cell. Yeah, it's Cell. He flies around and tries to kill you, and like if he kills one civilian, he levels up to the next form or whatever.
Okay.
So you're like civilians running around like a city trying to like escape and like rocket ships and shit. And if he kills you, he levels up and becomes more powerful.
Because in the commercial it shows Oolong because he can do that transformation into like items. So he transformed into a stool. And then you could play as Oolong or just some civilian. It's kind of weird how this game is. I'm like, oh, so you're not playing as them either a villain or a hero. You're playing as civilians surviving what's going on. It's a different take.
They had a beta up. I don't know if it still is on Xbox like last week. So
yeah.
I definitely have to check it out.
But what about you on Scorn, Jasper? Is that something up your alley? Are you gonna play it for the achievements, maybe?
It may be like a little slow because they've kind of walked down the whole combat thing on it.
It's a slow burn game.
Yeah. So that's where I'm like kind of iffy on it. It's like, is it going to be slow that I'm just like walking and like nothing's happening for like 10 minutes?
Definitely a survival horror. This is not a shooter, right? You have guns, but they've come out many times and said, don't expect this to be like a Doom, right? This is this is a slow, methodical survival horror that's supposed to give you that tension feeling, that constant thing, maybe a little bit of claustrophobia and stuff like that, not knowing what's going to happen and just constantly uneasy.
And see, a lot of that doesn't even work on me because I'm just like I play it, it's like it's a game, bro. Like nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So it's
so these games that stuff does work on me though. Like I do get that like uneasy feeling, and a lot of times that kind of turns me off from the game, right? To make me not come back. But there's a huge like audience for this type of game, and it being in Game Pass with especially around this time of year, I think it's going to get a good chance from a lot of people. We'll see how it reviews and stuff. This is from I think a smaller team, right? One of their either the first or one of their first big games, right? So we'll see how it does. It's been cooking for a while now. But
I mean, who doesn't love a biomechanical game? I mean, atmosphere. I mean, it's H.R. Geiger all over the feeling. So it's like that those fans alone are flocking to this game just because of the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's going to have a huge audience, and people willing to check it out because of that, right? Regardless. Then we got another big one, like 4 days after Scorn, another Game Pass Day 1 game, Plague Tale Requiem on the 18th. A sequel to a very popular game, one that reviewed very well, one that is a has a very dedicated like fan audience of now. This is an Asobo original creation. And a lot of people have been waiting for this game for a long time. So Plague Tale Requiem coming on the 18th. It is coming to all platforms, but it is Game Pass Day 1. This franchise kind of feels like it's associated with Xbox because of the first Plague Tale. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I definitely feel like there's more of that thinking and marketing behind it with when it comes to Xbox, obviously, right? So this is a pretty big release. So within 4 days, we get 2 big Game Pass releases, Scorn and Plague Tale Requiem.
Plague Tale's kind of the same for me, where it's just like you kind of walk around a lot and
it's
you don't
more.
really
It's like a
fight much.
stealth.
Yeah,
It's a stealth
yeah.
game, right? So you
It's
gotta
that
sneak.
same kind of thing where it's like slow and like you do
Mhm.
puzzles and shit. I'm just like, eh.
This one is more like is a third person game though, which is interesting. Like a third person story based, you know, and it has a very unique, different kind of story and a lot of stealth mechanics. So it's stealth genre is kind of missing out there for a lot of gamers, and this is something to dive into, but it has a completely different twist on the genre, right?
Yeah.
I know you're a big fan of this franchise, Psycho.
Yeah, I played the first one. I was so close to beating the first game while I was in Game Pass, and then fucking a lot of things happened. But I am psyched for this. I can't wait because I mean, we saw how when the first Plague Tale got the Series X optimization update, and it looked gorgeous. Now this has been fully utilizing the hardware of Xbox, and we're about to see some next level stuff here. Yes, it is slow, like Jasper said, but it's if you're a fan of definitely of a stealth and kind of like puzzle type genre, this is it's right up your alley. And what was it now? It's now they can render 300,000 rats on the screen at once instead of the 3,000 it was, or 300.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, so that's just it's just insane. I think they kind of push it at one point where they show the insane amount of rats that can be generated in the map, and I think it's going to look really beautiful. It's something, you know, if you're only into aesthetic pleasing video games, this is up your alley. And I mean, there's nothing more you could say. It's one of the gorgeous.
This could be a critical darling as well, I think, because you know what I mean, for the critics out there, the journalists and stuff, and something that could potentially win some awards, right? Different for different genres and stuff like that. Fuzzy, did you play the first Plague Tale?
I only played like about, I would say maybe 6 or 7 hours into it. So it's kind of early on, and it was pretty good from what I played through. But then I forget what game came out afterwards that I hopped over to, and I've been meaning to go back before it left Game Pass and stuff, so I could be ready for when Part 2 comes out. But the bit that I played, as far as the stealth mechanics and things like that, were pretty good. It's not my normal go-to type of game, but overall, like Psychonauts was saying, the visuals on that thing, once they did that Series X update, it may not be as like true to life as like, well, it's a totally different genre, but like Asobo working on like flight sim, I'm like used to, like sometimes you take a picture and it's like, oh, it looks like you're actually looking at the plane or window of a plane. No, but they definitely knocked out the details as far as like the grass, the woods, just all the like the flame and lighting and fire and stuff like that. All of that stuff was top notch on that thing. So I'm definitely going to wind up giving it a try when it comes out. But unfortunately, I didn't finish the first one.
Yeah, Right on, man. What about you, Jasper? You're the same thing you said, kind of too slow for
Yeah,
you.
it's slow. Yeah.
You just like to run and gun, bro. I get it. I get it, man. I get it. I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't play through it for the achievements though, and beat it faster than anybody else does.
We'll see. If it's like a 20-hour game for completion, I won't play it. But if it's like 5 hours, I'll play it.
Yeah, I really like
No,
the first one.
it's a long one.
Yeah, I know.
It's really long. The first one had 17 missions.
Mm-hmm.
And man, it's
I was streaming the first one. I remember thinking I was almost done, and the y'all were like, "No, you got like 10 more missions left, bro," or something. I'm like, "Oh my god," it's crazy. But yeah, I was like really enjoying it. It was really impressive, that game, and I feel like Asobo is like keeps doing more and more badass stuff. Right? Asobo, for those that don't know, they also make flight sim, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they make all these different kinds of games and different genres, and this is like their story-based game, like their creation here, right? So that they're gonna put their all into this, and a talented studio I think they're gonna try and show off with this game. So I think it has a really good chance to be a smash hit. But guys, also on the 18th, we got something that's I feel like is pretty damn cool. Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. It's a co-op based Ghostbusters game. Have y'all seen any trailers for this one?
yeah.
Yeah. Is it? Do you get to? I don't remember if you get to play as the
You
ghost.
get to play as a ghost. Yeah, it's like 4v1 type situation, I believe. If I'm correct,
kind of like Evolve, but like you're
I
in
was
the mansion.
just about to say that.
I think it could
It's like
possibly
Luigi Mansion.
or it may just be an option to be able to have a player ghost. I'm not 100% sure how the mechanics work.
I was thinking for some reason it was kind of like a prop hunt, like the ghost like took over objects, and like you had to be like the Ghostbusters to like try to figure out the ghost or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
But I could be wrong. Maybe that's another game or something. But
yeah, like you could be a Slimer and you go inside of like a book or something like that on a shelf, right? And then you get to pop out and slime somebody. Sounds like a good time to me. Ghostbusters, the last good big Ghostbusters game, I believe was like was it on the 360? There was a 4-player
twin stick.
No, there was a actual like full-fledged Ghostbusters game that was pretty damn good. I can't remember if it was early Xbox One generation or if it was on 360. In the chat, let me know. But it's a franchise that I feel like is never going to die. Ghostbusters always has a chance to come back in a big way. I'm looking forward to trying it out. I love co-op shooters, or not really shooters. Co-op streamers. It's not a shooter.
You can't cross your streams though.
Don't cross the streams. Exactly.
What if we have to cross the streams to take off the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man?
Just the tips.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. So we got that game. Then
that game.
Them's Fighting Herds. I'm not really sure what that is. It's also on the 18th.
What?
I think that's the My Little Pony fighter thing.
What?
Yeah.
It was what people were making fun of as far as like, how people call Sony ponies.
It is.
But it's like a fighting game. I'm looking
Pony
forward to that one too, just for
some laughs.
Laughs type of thing.
Yeah, this is a My Little Pony inspired fighter. Them's Fighting Herds. So it's like deers fighting.
I thought you were doing
cows.
some like stupid country accent. I had to go.
Them's Fighting
Them
Herds.
fighting herds. Not them fighting words that are come get there.
Mechanically, if it's good, I don't care. It'd be pretty. It could be fun to check out.
You gonna throw a cow pie at me, partner?
Maybe that's a move, right? There's another game called Batora Lost Haven that it has. I know it's like a more of an indie game, but a lot of people are excited about that one. That's coming on the 20th. Geez, and what's Norco? Anybody heard of Norco? Yeah, I don't know what this game is,
I'm
but
not sure on that one.
yeah, there's
What is
something
it?
Norco.
Norco?
Yeah, Norco. Don't know what that is. Second Extinction is getting its full release on the 20th as well. Don't
Nice.
know what they've added since the preview release, but when the preview release came out, I was really into that game for a little while.
Yeah, we were for a while.
I really liked it. I need to go back to it. Last time I went back to it, there wasn't as much added as I had hoped, so I just like turned it back off. But maybe with the 1.0 type release, maybe it'll be quite a bit of content there. Ooh, and here we go on the 21st, guys. We were talking about this a minute ago. The
New Tales from the
21st.
Borderlands.
No, that's not what I'm gonna get into. Not at least yet. Anyway, we'll
Persona
just,
5.
Well, we'll get to that one too.
Oh, God.
But the 21st is a holy shit day as far as games. Like October 21st. Mark this on your calendars. If you enjoy video games, October 21st has got something for everybody, right? Gotham Knights. That's my most anticipated game of the year right now. Still, even over Call of Duty. I just have been craving an Arkham game for a long time. This is co-op Arkham style multiplayer gameplay. I'm all in on this game. I know some people are a little down on it.
Servers aren't going to work.
Don't say that. Well, why? Because, why? Because it's gonna sell too much and too many people are gonna play it. Is that why?
No,
Because it's Warner Brothers. Yeah.
One issue with the game is streaming it, because like WB is just so like freaking brutal.
They don't have enough money to turn on servers.
We'll see. I think, man, the one thing that they have that's profitable is their gaming division right now. So,
if you get into their subscription service, you can rent out servers for the low price of $99.99.
Man, their servers better freaking work for this game. There's a lot of cool stuff they're doing with the co-op on this. You're talking about like your partner can go anywhere in the map anytime they want. You have like the leveling goes based on your player and your character, right? Who you're fighting against. You know, they got, so you can be taking on a mission on your own, come back and help the other player, and you can kind of just both be your own vigilantes in the same world. It just sounds perfect. You go back to the base and during the daytime, and then when you go back out, it becomes nighttime, and you have new missions and everything, and you kind of decide when you're ready to go back. It just sounds like an Arkham playground with a friend, right? Like that's,
and you could be the
awesome.
Same character too, right?
Yeah, you can be the same character. So you can, but you can also, each of your characters can play completely different because there's skill trees and stuff like that, right? So, one thing they explained with Redfall as well, when that comes out, like even though people can have the same character, they're not going to play necessarily the same way, right?
Yeah.
So I'm pumped for Gotham Knights, everybody. The 21st is going to be holy shit. Is Gotham Knights on anybody else's number one here?
No, there's like one game that's my number one this month, but it's
okay.
Not Gotham Knights.
What is it?
I am excited for it, but it's just the $70 price tag on Gotham Knights is kind of like souring me already from it, you know?
Yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow for any game, I agree.
I gotta pick between Call of Duty or Gotham Knights for $70. I'm kind of going with Call of Duty right now.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm just waiting for this to drop in the Game Pass. Yeah. You know it's coming. So
what about you, Fuzz?
I'm definitely getting Call of Duty. No,
sorry, man. We're sorry.
No, I'm definitely getting Call of Duty, but I'm probably going to wind up getting this as well. I'm just not sure which character I'm going to play as, whether it be Robin or Dark Knight or whatnot. But I'm probably picking this up. The $70 was kind of one of those things where I was like, do I want to wait for it to go on sale, or I think I'm just going to bite the bullet and pick it up day one.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to end up doing. Get a week to play something before Call of Duty comes out, and
right. Yeah. Well, here we go. Like, let me ask you guys this, because like I put the speculation out there yesterday on PM in the PM, and I've put it out there in the past, right? But just being that we just had an announcement that Scorn moved up a week, right? That Scorn moved up a week. Also, there was another game that was supposed to launch on this day that moved within a week of this day, at least, that moved back into December, right? So this day used to be even more crowded than it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And beforehand, I was looking at this list and I was being like, okay, what I had originally thought of as a possibility that maybe they would have made this happen is no longer going to happen. But now, because stuff keeps moving out, maybe it's making me think that maybe there's a possibility again. What if Xbox dropped the bag to WB and got Gotham Knights, which is a multiplayer game, in Game Pass day one?
I just don't think that's happened. I don't think it is
either. But what if?
I mean, it would be great if it did, but I just don't think it is.
I'm thinking there's a 30% chance right now.
We don't really see too many WB games go to Game Pass though. Like the only ones I can think of is
but hold on,
Injustice.
Jasper. But this is the new WB Discovery now. They're strapped for cash, right? They're maybe not. They're looking for safe bets, right? Insurance money here while they're going through all their transitions, right? And maybe it's possible that this WB would have taken a upfront money for a game.
But
like
it's
this.
also the same WB that has not had as much development time in this game. So either way, it's profit for them.
Well, yeah, maybe, but like when their whole situation right now, they keep like gaming division is profitable for them, so they're looking at that as like an asset right now, right? But still, as a company, they're just like melting, right? I mean, I don't really know how to describe it, like other than that, like every other part of them. So if you have like, okay, well, here's an injection of millions of dollars that you could maybe use to help offset things, like maybe they would consider it, and maybe it could also be best for the game, right?
I think it would be definitely better for the game because a lot of the kind of word around it's been negative ever since they've kind of shown it off. So I think Game Pass is definitely a good move to kind of turn that into a positive side of thing. But I just don't think WB plays that way.
What you, Psycho? You think there's a chance? You think there's a chance?
Yeah, I think there is a chance. We can't say no, only to the fact of look at Outriders. Literally, what a week or two before it was going to be launched, and it's like, oh yeah, it's coming to Game Pass.
Right. That's another thing. Like, if they were to do a deal like this, it wouldn't have been announced yet. It would be announced about 2 to 3 weeks before launch, which would mean possibly this coming week it would be announced, right? And the other aspect of that is there's multiple reasons why I would think it would make sense. It's not just because I want it. Obviously, if it doesn't happen, I'm still getting it anyway. Like, it's just not saying every game needs to be in Game Pass. But my thinking from this was, and I talked about this like almost a year ago, right? Like, this game specifically would make a lot of sense, right? And it's even made more sense over time because there's been some negativity about it, like in the community and overall. It doesn't have as much hype as it should, right? I believe, because I think a lot of the negativity is kind of not really. I don't think it holds a lot of water. What some of the complaints are, like, I don't know if I don't really understand what a lot of complaints about the animations and stuff are. I get that it's not like the most next level looking thing, but for me, it was always going to be a multiplayer Arkham type game, and this game looks like it has Arkham combat and those kind of mechanics and stuff like that. So, but because that perception is out there, maybe they have like a lower pre-order numbers than they wanted, or maybe they have like they're tracking the social media presence and all these different things. Like, okay, well, it's not as much hype as we wanted, right? So there's that one aspect that could be in Xbox's favor here. The other aspect is Xbox has been told by several fans for a long time, we want a superhero game on Xbox that's like kind of Xbox first party, right? Now, this would not make that first party, but putting a game in Game Pass day one kind of gives that feeling for Xbox fans a lot of times, and it creates that hype and that marketing around it and that buzz, and it kind of associates it with Xbox. So that would be a win there. Thirdly, it's a multiplayer focused game, which we know that Xbox loves to do that, and also makes more sense for the publishers when they turn around and do multiplayer focused things in Game Pass. Hence, the comments made from the Wolong developers about that game going into Game Pass and how it's going to help that as well. So there's several different things. The only thing that had removed me from that was the crowded release date. Now that things have moved off, now it's still a crazy date, but not as crazy for Game Pass.
Well,
as it was,
if you notice
right?
the games that have moved off, it's a lot smaller games though. So I think those games are moving off just to try to get as much out of it as they can. Like High on Life moved to December. They said they needed Animation Works. They might, but I think they're just trying to clear the way so they can get some more sales towards themselves. And same for Scorn. I don't know if it's necessarily just
so for this day right now. There's only Scorn is on the 14th, right? And the only other one that's a Game Pass game, I believe, is Persona.
Or there's Plague's Tale on there.
Yeah, on the 18th.
So that's on the 18th, not at the 20th. That's the 21st, right?
Yeah.
So I would just say, okay, you moved this. Maybe Scorn moved for a reason, right? Maybe it could have been a Game Pass like thing where they're trying to separate the games out in October a little bit, right? On the release schedule for Game Pass, right?
But see,
Potentially.
that's at the same time, like we see these Game Pass drops where like you get like 7 games on one day, so it's
Yeah, I get you.
True.
But it's still not the same day, which would be even worse, right? Like I'm just holding, like I'm just saying, like maybe there's a chance. I'm not saying this is likely. I'm not saying it's like gonna happen. Nothing like that. I'm just saying like this has been in my mind about something I would hope that Xbox would have targeted for this kind of deal because, and especially in a year where you had so few big time first party releases, I would think maybe doing a deal for one big time third party game, especially a holiday game, would make a lot of sense, right? And maybe that could have maybe been willing to drop more money than usual for something like that. But we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I just don't think WB plays that way. But
yeah, we'll see. Maybe they do put games in Game Pass, but usually later, right?
yeah.
So there's always a first. We'll see.
Yep.
We'll see. I'm hoping
hope
cross
you're
my
right.
fingers because not because of for me and my $70. Well, that's part of it, but also because of I think it'd be best for the game. Period.
Yeah.
Right. I think
of it this way:
great.
if they do put it in Game Pass, that kind of negates that $70 price hike. So
Exactly.
with the discount, it kind of knocks it back to what a normal price would be, and I'd be fine with that.
And is this game gonna really do amazing on PlayStation?
I doubt
What's
it because I mean, I think most of the criticism is because they're comparing the combat to Spider-Man, which is another one that uses kind of that Arkham dance type of stuff.
Yeah, which Arkham invented.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But it doesn't look as fluid in some people's eyes, and to me the combat looked fine. But
it looked like Arkham combat to me. Like I wasn't expecting anything different. I expect maybe
I
different.
think a lot of people are
with
looking for that
next
slow
Rocksteady.
down every now and then, like
Gotham
at the end of the
Steam.
combat, so that way you have that Spider-Man effect or that almost theatrical or movie effect type of thing. But
right.
Well, my issue was at first I was like, it didn't have that.
Yep. WB's doing that stupid fucking thing. Okay.
Ping pong Batman movement that that from God.
See, that's
Arkham.
what I saw that everybody was complaining about, though, the magnetism, right? The slide mechanic.
Yeah, and like that's why I think it looked weird because it doesn't do that. So people, because they're used to Batman, they're used to seeing that animation.
But that's what I think. So what you're saying, though, Psycho, like for me, like maybe that's not what you saw, right? And I get that, but like for me, that's what I saw people complaining about was that magnet ping pong type mechanic
where it was slide halfway across the road, punch you in the face.
Yeah, where it was like it was just sliding.
Yeah,
instead of like which is a classic Arkham thing, and I feel like people were expecting it to be different than that, but it's still traditionally the same mechanics. But then also like the other thing that kind of stood out was the player that was playing kind of sucked, right? And was missing like all the combos,
counters
and everything, right? That crates help that medley that Arkham needs, right? So maybe that's where you're seeing that they missed some of that, right? Because they missed a lot of those combos and stuff.
It's also 60 on PC. I just looked it up. WB does that thing where they do 60 on PC and 70 on console.
So stupid, man.
Yeah. Well, it's always been like that. PC is always one price, and consoles $10 more or 20, depending if you're, Skyrim for Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. I'm pumped for this, man. It's like my day. Yeah. It's my number one most anticipated game all year. After Starfield and it was delayed, right? Not ever since that was delayed. It's my number one most anticipated game. And I'm freaking just like pumped for it, dude. I think we're gonna have a blast. I know me and Kate will. She can pick Batgirl, and
that's who I'm picking is Batgirl.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Robin. I know it's not the most popular choice, but I'm gonna go Robin. I like
I'm definitely gonna be Nightwing.
Right on.
And because I just can't do Red Hood.
Yeah, you don't like the slow pistol movement. And
I
stuff.
don't like the rubber bullets. Give me real bullets. Let me kill people. I don't want where's this Mr. Nice Guy shit? Damien wasn't nice.
Who would you pick, Fuzz?
It would either be Red Hood or Nightwing. One
Right
of
on.
the two.
Sweet. Well, Gotham Knights, 21st. Then we got the one Jasper's really pumped for is New Tales from the Borderlands. Is that the one, Jasper?
No,
No?
it's a little
Okay.
later this month.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant on the 21st.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you like the Tales from Borderlands games?
That was one of the only Tell games that I played was the Borderlands one. So there's part of me that's interested in this, but again, at the same time, it's a Telltale game, and I just can't stand those. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe if there's nothing out, but there's a lot out, so I'm probably skipping.
What's crazy is we're still only in October, and there's still lots to go. Psycho, Tales from Borderlands.
I only played a little bit of the first one, so I did not like, because this one was Tales of the Borderlands. Was that the Telltales?
Yeah,
like,
it's a Telltale series like The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And, you know,
I like The
Traveler's
Walking
Tales,
Dead.
Traveler's
I like
Tales.
Batman. I like
Traveler's Tales
No.
with Lego games.
Yeah, Telltales. Sorry.
Yeah,
So Telltale and Traveler's Tales. I always get those two mixed up.
Yeah. So I like the Batman series. I like the Walking Dead series, but I did not get into the Borderlands version of this, and I love Borderlands. I played the hell out of all of them, beat them all, but
yeah, they killed one of the best characters in that Telltale game.
Yeah, I never got into it, so I'm like, probably not gonna get into it either.
Yeah.
So I'm passing on that one.
Okay. Right on. I only played, the only Telltale game I played was Walking Dead. I think I played like the first 2 iterations of that. We really liked it. It actually got us into the show. But I haven't played any of the Borderlands. I haven't played the was it Wolf Among Us?
Yep.
And some of the other ones. Isn't there a Batman one?
There's Batman, Game of Thrones, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. They're solid games. I just like, for some reason I know it's like gonna be a long episodic process to get through them, and like I just haven't really gotten back into
Batman's cool.
Batman is right on. I heard the Wolf Among Us is fantastic. So I kind of want to check that out. But guys, we got more. Holy crap. Again on the 21st. Persona 5 Royale.
Finally.
Yes. Coming to Xbox.
Persona.
Big Atlas game. Persona makes its way to Xbox. On Game Pass, no less, as well. So
That's a huge win.
Yeah. I know you're gonna play the shit out of this, Psycho.
I've never played any Persona games because I have not had a PS2 or PS3 to play these. So this would be my first Persona game. But I'm definitely going to play the fuck out of it, like you said, Mav. It's one of those games. It's just I like JRPGs. I like all Japanese games. It's weird. I like the more weird and funky. I love it.
Yeah,
I know Pong would be right there with me.
Yeah, Pong is definitely amped for this. He's been waiting for this to come to Xbox for a long time. I bought this game twice already. Bought the original version on PS4, and when they re-released it with the Royale version, I bought that. A Royale, whatever. I don't know how they say it, but I bought that, and I've gotten like deep far into it both times, and haven't finished it. But I was like, okay, I need to finish this game, right? And so on PS4 Pro, I did the Royale one, and I bought that because it had all the extra content. I was like, if I'm going to beat the game and play the game, I want all the extra stuff, right? And they did the shitty thing of not just letting you do an add-on. It was a whole new version of the game. But I did never end up finishing it because I think something else came out and it just grabbed my attention and I was hooked. But now it's coming to Game Pass, so I have a chance to play it again. And relive the story, which is really good, up until where I've gotten to, like the story has been fantastic so far. The Fuzz, are you a Persona guy? Did you like it? You used to play PlayStation a lot. Is that one of your favorite series?
I had. It's funny when I was on PlayStation primarily. I hadn't played it, but it was one of those I was kind of considering picking up, and then when I kind of switched mainly to Xbox, I was like, you know what? Since I'm buying most of my multiplats on Xbox, I'll kind of just wait for it to come over here to Xbox, which I know probably sounds weird, but I'm definitely looking to give it a try. Like Atlas games, it's something that I've been wanting to hop into for a while. Like I'm a big fan of other Sega titles like the Yakuza series and stuff, which I've played on both Xbox and PlayStation. But Persona is one of those that at the time I was like, I'll eventually get into it, but definitely want to give it a try here when it comes out in Game Pass. And more than likely, I'm kind of hoping that we get more Personas. Like I guess what is it?
We get
Gold.
3 and 4 or whatever next year, don't we?
Yeah, we're getting 3
Yeah.
and 4, but I think the next one is going to be, was it Gold or something? I think for one of them that hopefully that's like their next release type of deal. Hopefully we get that on Xbox as well. But I'm definitely looking forward to this Persona 5 coming to Game Pass. Definitely want to try it.
Yeah, it's turn-based, Jasper.
I've been out of this series since forever. I have no interest.
It's a really cool game.
I got a friend that's always like, "Oh, you gotta play Persona, bro. You gotta play." I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
He's like, he's great. He goes crazy at that fucking game, but
it's just like it's got its own personality, like Persona does. It's got like the music from the way the characters talk and act, and the style of the combat with the turn-based. They got a different quirk, and
maybe if it wasn't 150 hours to finish, I would play it. But
the only issue that I always usually have with the Persona games is like there's a lot of like, especially in this one, there's a lot of walking around the damn school, right? And like keep going back to that over and over again and stuff. And it's like, okay, can we just get back to like the progression stuff? You know what I mean? But the story is pretty fun on there for sure. I don't know what Saturnalia is, so I'll skip that one. Signalis, I don't know what that is either. Signalis is a pretty big game, I think. I just can't think of what it is off the top of my head. Star Ocean: The Divine Force, that's coming on the 27th. Another JRPG making its way to Xbox.
Yay.
Star Ocean 4, The Last Hope, was absolutely fantastic. I skipped 5 because of the there's a lot of bad critiques about it, and I think it was only on PlayStation, if I'm right, at the time, or maybe on PlayStation Switch. I can't remember. But Star Ocean: The Divine Force. Anybody looking forward to that one?
Yes. I think the last Star Ocean I played was from the 360.
Yeah, that'd be
which one that
Star
was.
Ocean 4: The Last Hope.
Yeah, I played that, and like again, I'm a JRPG fucking connoisseur. So I grew up on Sega and Nintendo, and that's pretty much what you had.
Wow.
So, these games appeal to me in a whole different level, nostalgia feeling, and it's quirky, and that's what we love, right, Pong?
Correct, sir. Whatever you're talking about, whatever it is.
Star Ocean.
Well, but
the love of JRPGs.
Psycho, Xbox shouldn't be investing in Japanese games because nobody plays them. What are they doing?
Yeah. Listen, when Xbox first came out, the OG Xbox in 2001, a lot of people that were Sega fans, when they closed up, a lot of people went to Xbox because that's where a lot of Sega games went. So there's a shit ton of Sega fans in the Xbox community, diehards, and the people that say that they shouldn't have, they just need to shut the fuck up. And that's just how it is.
But it's just what the numbers say, Psycho. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Nobody on Xbox buys Japanese games. So
yeah, and I did the fucking numbers. So out of
I think you're muted, Pong, if you're trying to talk.
There were like 4,000
talking to my
copies
dog.
of one game, and so it came out to like there was more copies sold of a JRPG on Xbox than it was. I shouldn't say more copies sold, but more players were playing them. So more players bought the game, and because of the amount of, we only have 55 million consoles out there versus the 140 or 130 something that's on PlayStation. So there's more Xbox fans playing JRPGs than there were of
a higher percentage or whatever, right?
Yeah, the percentage rate.
Yeah. So I think it's, just for me, it's like Xbox isn't going to get people that like JRPGs and it's their primary game unless they have them. Right. So it's like, it makes sense to have them on the platform. You know what I mean? And so they're doing their work to make sure that people know that if you're like JRPGs, that there are on the platform. Right. And not just RPGs, but a lot of these franchises like the Arc System Works fighting games and all these other things that are coming. So they're doing a lot of work for that. And I want them to continue because it not only benefits me because I get to play those games, but it also, I think, will benefit Xbox in the long run and help them become better in those territories and get even more games made from those creators in those territories. So that would be absolutely awesome. Square, get on board. You suck.
Yeah.
You said sell everything?
No.
Yeah. Well, look at the 360 era. Look how many Japanese style games were on the 360 and people loved. So, does that not count? Oh, that doesn't count because that was 2 generations ago. Like, come on.
Yeah.
This topic gets me heated and I start losing my temper and start calling people. I start sounding like a fanboy. Sorry.
Pong, what's up, dude?
What is going on, brothers? Great to be here. Psycho, amazing to have you back. Great to hear your voice. I was listening to you guys up until the October 21st date when you guys were going through your games.
Yeah, that's we got
everything after that.
Gotham Knights and Tales from Borderlands, and now we're on Persona. I was gonna go through October, November, December. We're already a little over an hour into the show, and
it should speed up after October a little bit.
It should. It should.
Yeah, great to be here though. Sorry I'm late. So
you're good, man.
But
Unacceptable.
Yeah. Got an update from Dad, so I was dealing with that as well.
Oh no. How is he doing?
They're hanging tough. No power. They don't see any trucks in the area. Streets are still flooded out. They're mopping out the house, throwing shit out, and they lost one freezer. And so their last freezer, it doesn't seem like the generator is giving it enough power to keep it cold. So they're hoping to get power back in the next couple days. Otherwise, things might get dicey. So
I hear you.
At right now. Yeah,
that's absolutely crazy. Well, I hope for the best for them, dude, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And sorry to you and the fam again, Mav, too, for your day.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and everybody in the community out there that sent their thoughts. Appreciate everybody regarding that for sure. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
That's the number one game, Mav.
Yeah, it's gonna be the number one game this year. Period.
Yeah.
Elden Ring's gonna be a tough beat, but
I think this is gonna sell more than Elden Ring.
Yeah.
I don't know how many sells,
year, but definitely.
Yeah,
I think Elden Ring
will
was
win Game of the Year.
16 Elden Ring 16, I think, was the last report or something.
This
like
is gonna do like in the 20s at least.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be in the 30s.
This might be like Cyberpunk out the gates. It might have 13 to 15 million out the gates first week.
By the end of the year, I'm thinking this is like in the 20s at least, and by next year sometime in the 30s. It
could even be bigger than that.
It could be. This is going to be the biggest. This is going to be the biggest Call of Duty release of all time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Even after the PlayStation guys do their refunds.
Oh my god!
Yes.
When after those PlayStation guys going to have massive FOMO. Dude.
All of those tens of people cancel their Call of Duty.
All those tens of them
still going to be the number one selling game.
All tens of them,
and they're going to have FOMO, and they'll be back on it. Well, after all, I've reconsidered my thinking, and this is always been a Call of Duty
the
brand.
biggest streamer that they watch starts playing Warzone or whatever, then they'll buy it. So.
Right?
Yeah. You damn well know that it's just them, and these fucking idiots out there. I'm going to return my copy. Like, listen, you're not hurting Xbox, all right? You're hurting PlayStation when you return that, because that's lost revenue for them. So you're hurting PlayStation. Just keep that in mind, all right? So if you want to stick it to the man, buy the copy for PlayStation and not Xbox.
It also help you get your level 4 support ticket.
So yes, for $19.99.
It'll help you get to level 4 status. So if you do actually have an issue refunding the next game that you try and refund because Xbox owns it, you'll get to the front of the queue.
It should have some rare achievements or trophies in it because they don't play multiplayer games, so they'll be rare on that system.
Oh my God. So what's the one multiplayer game they play is Call of Duty, and they play Call of Duty, Madden, FIFA, and
Destiny.
Yeah.
NBA
Pretty much.
2K.
NBA 2K. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's like 4 or 5, primarily, and there will be others, right? There'll be others, but like these other little quirky ones that come out all the time, they often don't really get played as much, for some reason. But however, like it's maybe because they have so many good single player games, right? Who knows why that is. Next up, guys. After the biggest game of the year.
You didn't ask me if I was going to play it.
Oh, are you?
We know you're gonna fucking play it. Baby.
Okay, who here is excited for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2?
Campaign, yeah.
That's right. Campaign comes out a fucking week early, so I will get like 1 day to play Gotham Knights.
Yeah,
fucking hell, dude.
On the 21st. On the 21st, the campaign.
You're gonna
comes
beat
out.
that campaign in 1 day. Who you fooling, Jay?
Oh,
Yeah.
the Call of Duty one, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like 8 hours later, I'm done.
Yeah. Like, all right. No, I love that. That's like the one thing I love about with Call of Duty is the campaign. I just love the campaign. Just always have. Except for Vanguard. I would say Vanguard probably has the worst campaign ever.
They did some interesting stuff with the end there, and they tied it into the Modern Warfare lore and stuff.
I haven't beaten it, so I don't know.
So all right, we got Solar Ash coming to Xbox, which had
What'd you call me?
when is that? Oh, that's to be announced. How did I scroll down? Oh, that's way after. Okay, hold on. I skipped. I'm sorry. Okay. Bayonetta 3 comes out on Switch. I'm just throwing that out there. But Resident Evil Reverse on the 28th. And then there's a Winter's expansion. That's when that whole like extended edition of it comes out with all of the bonuses or whatever, and you get the third person mode, you get the expansion. Her name's Rose, right? Is that right? Featuring I believe it's Rose.
Yes, you are correct.
And also you get the reverse stuff in there, I think.
Draw me like your French girls.
Jack.
Oh.
Not
it's
that
like
Rose.
draw me like one of your French whores, Jack. All right. Anyway, we just watched Titanic recently. So that's October, everybody. That's October.
Woohoo.
Damn. Holy damn.
Hour and 13 minutes on October.
October.
Living good.
Damn.
The
Again.
month of the backlog.
But there's no games coming onto Xbox.
A lot of those games we mentioned are also in Game Pass.
It was clarified this week, Psycho, time and time again, that you all know what we're talking about. First party AAA games. That's what we mean when we say
okay.
That's been clarified multiple
Oh,
times.
so it has to
this
be
week that-
first party and AAA.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
That's what
only
that
AAA
means.
bangers.
And we all knew that.
Do they have to be
just-
third person action adventure games also?
So is like next year's argument going to be, well, there's no 343 game this year, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
Specific developers.
Yeah.
So I guess games like Sifu don't count on the PlayStation, right? Because
No,
that's not
no,
first
they don't
party,
count.
nor
They
is it
don't count.
AAA.
No, they don't count. They don't count.
Oh,
Stray
okay.
doesn't count either, or
Yeah.
as Final
Okay,
Fantasy 16 or Final Fantasy 7 remake or any of those. I guess
Or that Ronin game that they're going to get from Team Ninja, that won't count either because that's not first party. So yeah,
doesn't count.
I don't want to hear any
only-
of them say that that's a banger. Nope, not first party. Sorry.
And it used to only count if it scored a 90 or plus, but that's
changed
That's
this year,
changed this year.
so-
Yeah.
That's changed
So,
now.
I think one game has scored higher than 90 on PS5.
It's
And
changed.
that was a PS3 remake. Sorry. Gotta dig there.
So, all right. Now we got November. Shit. We got to get to November faster than we did October. But there's not as many games. Okay. So I'm skipping this one, skipping that one. Humankind coming out to everything. It's also a Game Pass game, day one. This is a
PC Game Pass right now, isn't it?
it might be. It's coming to PS5, Series X and S, PS4, and Xbox One. But it's in Game Pass day one, and this is a RTS strategy like style game. Is it kind of like Civilization?
Kind of like Civilization, yeah.
Right? Looks pretty cool. I'm intrigued by this game. It's this is launching on November 4th.
Nice.
Then Sonic Frontiers is also on the 8th. That's another one that, I mean, just in the back of my mind is slim chance. I would think it would be a slim possibility could get a surprise Game Pass announcement, but I don't think it's likely.
It's a Sega game.
The only reason is because it's Sega, and Sega has that really strong partnership with Xbox right now, and there has been other Sega games go day and date on Game Pass this past year and a half or so. You have like Total War, Warhammer 3, and then you also have 2 Point Campus, were 2 games. Then you also have the others. Total War's coming.
Are like published by Sega. These are like, this is straight Sega games. So that's it's a little different.
It is a little different.
I can see it eventually coming though.
Yeah, I mean, see it eventually
down the road, but I think they're going to grab as many sales as possible.
Yeah, slim. I mean, that's why I said slim. The slimmest of the slim. But
your Gotham Knights is a better one.
Yeah, we went over that earlier as well. So God of War Ragnarok hits for PlayStation November 9th. So it's a big week of games there, guys. You got 2 pretty damn big releases right there, just between Sonic Frontiers and God of War Ragnarok. You can finally
when do we get into Starfield?
That's March next year, maybe April, May. I don't know.
Damn.
Sometime next year.
I thought it was November.
Tactics Ogre Reborn is hitting also on PlayStation. That should be on Xbox Square. Come on.
Nope.
Valkyrie Elysium, is that coming to Xbox? That's also just going to PlayStation.
That's PS5.
Yeah.
That's PS5 only.
So fucking ridiculous.
It didn't score well, so nobody's bragging about it right now. So.
Yeah. Pentiment. This is
Game of the Year.
Obsidian's little gem from Josh Sawyer that is actually has more people excited about it after they got hands-on with it at Gamescom. It has created some positive buzz. I've heard other journalists talking about it that got hands-on with it and were praising it to their audiences as well. People like Easy Allies and things like that who have a channel and stuff. And I think this game's getting a little bit of buzz, even though it's not the biggest game out there. Another Game Pass first-party game releasing day one. That could be another potentially critical darling type game, like As Dusk Falls, maybe kind of a critical hit. Plague Tale Requiem, even though it's not first-party, could become kind of associated with Xbox because of the marketing deal and Game Pass day one. Maybe another critical success as well. But this Pentiment game, I think, is going to catch on with a specific type of audience. And I'm getting more intrigued by it the closer it gets to the release. So that is actually releasing again on November the 15th. So, yeah. Pentiment, is that your style, Jasper? I know you're super pumped.
No.
I know. I know Psycho's excited about it. I know Pong's excited about it. But Fuzzy, would you give it a chance? Or?
Oh, yeah. Murder mystery kind of, whodunit type of thing. Yeah. I'll definitely give it a try.
If it's
I think it's going to be one of those that's nominated for Game of the Year, too.
Does it have humor in it? Because I would love if this had like Monty Python humor mixed in with it. Like,
I think this one takes much more serious time.
I think so too. Yeah. But it's just like the look of it. If it had Monty Python aspects to it, I would just be like so down for that. Because it looks like a Monty Python movie, like intro.
There's that one game on Game Pass that's kind of like the same kind of art style and the kind of same kind of play style. I forgot what it's called, like Calorie or something, like Callaway or something.
Cavalry? Is it Cavalry something?
I thought it was.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
I had it downloaded for a while. But
I played that one, and that has more of the humor. If you want the humor, like kind of with
Python.
Okay. Yeah. Send me a link, bruh. Because I'm just gonna be typing like all these C words trying to find it.
Yeah, no, it's Game Pass.
Right on. Psycho's excited. You're excited though?
Which one?
Pentiment?
Yeah, it was intriguing. So I'm definitely gonna give it a whirl. Josh Sawyer, I mean, it's one of those passion projects, and those games always tend to be really freaking good.
Creative focused games, right?
Yeah. And that's that's what I like. I don't need AAA bangers to have a good time.
Bangers.
Give me something that has a good story. I mean, this art style looks fun. Just like what you guys said, like the Monty Python little animation thing, like that right there. I was like, I'm fucking sold. I'm like, that's what intrigued me the most, is just like that art style. And I can just see like little things and just being kind of goofy in some aspects, maybe some dialogue here and there, but nothing too like zany like Monty Python.
Right on, bro. Well, that's going to be an interesting one to see what the response is when that game launches, right? Then we got Warzone 2.0, guys.
Well, you know what the response is going to be, right? We're going to have screenshots of Pentiment next to God of War Ragnarok.
You're right. Xbox first party. You know, it's PlayStation exactly first party, 100%.
Yes,
you know what I mean? God, you're so right, Pong. I'm gonna share the first one I see of those. I'm gonna share it with you and be like, "Damn, dude, you're right, 100%." So maybe we should share this more screenshots of Forza versus GT. In that case,
right?
Or maybe Forza versus Destruction All Stars. How about that?
Oh God,
that would be a better comparison.
Yes,
I'm surprised they haven't announced the server shutdown yet.
Destruction.
Yeah. They just announced an update or like expansion to that game.
Yeah, but
but is this expansion $70? Is it the Destruction All Stars Director's Cut remastered edition? Remade,
remix, remaster, reboot. Yeah.
No, it's not. Hey, we got one shout out I want to give and say also I've been given I've been giving Sega lots of praise. But screw you for not bringing Company Heroes Day 1 to console. Company Heroes 3 is launching on PC on November 17th. Before they did bring, the Total War games to PC Game Pass, I would be interested. Company Heroes 2 was also in Game Pass on PC. I would think that potentially this game could eventually come to PC Game Pass as well. So keep a lookout for Company Heroes 3. That looks fantastic. I was in their like launch stream debut when they announced it, like watching the chat, and people were like, "What the fuck is this?" Because people forgot what RTS games are, and they expected it to look like Call of Duty or some shit like that. And like, it's RTS, guys. You don't realize like it's not supposed to be a first-person shooter or something, but like one of the better RTS genres games franchises out there. Sega always putting quality RTS stuff out. So that was just a side note. We got Pokemon stuff happening on the Switch that month, but then also we got the
Goat Sim.
The Goat Sim was there?
Yeah. When? After Company Heroes on the 17th.
Oh, you're right. Goat Simulator 3, which is actually been getting a lot of hype. If you like fucking stuff up with goats, this is your game. And they skipped Goat Simulator 2 and went straight to 3, so it's that real big leap from one game to the other. So
well, the last game was on 360 too, so they went a whole fucking generation pretty much.
Yeah, I think you can control even more than goats in this one, possibly like pigs and all this kind of stuff. So I know you're going to be playing the shit out of this one, Jasper. This is more up your alley, especially where you're from.
I actually
Kentucky.
like the first game.
Yeah. How many goats do you have in your front yard?
None.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I do know where one is in the city though.
But we got ghosts that live around us too. It's okay.
What's her name?
When I was a kid, our neighbor had an ostrich.
What?
Your neighbor had an ostrich? Would
you live next to Spooky down in Australia or what?
They just had ostriches.
Were they emus or ostriches?
No, it was an ostrich.
Wow, those fucking things are scary.
Did you go taunt it?
No, I didn't live it was like a neighbor that was like a mile down the road. It wasn't like right next door, but
right on. And we're gonna have a story of Jasper falling off an ostrich. It'll be a new hit song on Fun Speculation. All right, Dark Pits. I'm losing the ability. The Dark Pits. I'm losing the ability to speak here, guys. The Dark Pictures anthology, The Devil in Me, happens on November 18th. The next up in the series, they continue to put out games frequently and become a success. So, any fans of the Dark Anthology series here?
I have not played one.
Nope.
So.
I haven't either. They're popular games.
It's a great series, I hear.
Yeah, it is. I have not potentially played one. Is it Fuzzy? You haven't played one either?
No.
All right. Has anybody here played a Dark Anthology series game before? Pong? Okay. How good are they?
I played it on PS4. I forget which one it is.
Made Mahan or Medan
Man
or
of Medan or
Man
whatever. I don't remember. Made
in Manhattan.
Yeah, whatever. For the people who like that,
yeah,
I could see
Man
why.
of Medan. There you go, Dave.
Yeah, Man of Medan, because it's. I mean, again, it's really well done. The writing's really well done. It's like watching a B campy movie from back in the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool and making the decisions and all that kind of stuff on the fly. I think they're cool. They're just, again, narrative games are either for me or not.
Yeah.
They don't do anything for me. So.
Well, we're about to have a couple of exciting games here that I know some of us here are really excited for coming up in November. Nope. Evil West coming on November 22nd. I have a feeling that's going to become more of a hit game than people are anticipating right now.
Game Pass, right?
No.
Not that one.
Oh, I'm thinking the next one, yeah. The next one's Game Pass.
Yeah. Not this one. But I think because of the type of game this is and when it's launching, and this has a chance to have some success. It also looks badass. We keep seeing more gameplay.
Had a nice preview on it. He got to play it.
Did he? Did he say
he really liked? Yeah, he really liked what he played out of it. He said it's like one of those older action titles, just with current He's like, it's not going to blow you away at any point, but everything worked really well from what he played. And he said this is going to be a fun game.
It reminds me of a style of game we would get on the 360 PS3 era a lot, right? But this is like an updated, like new take on that genre. Right. And it's refreshing.
All last gen.
Yeah, it may be refreshing to get something like this, right? So Evil West, man, check out some gameplay footage of that game, guys, if you haven't seen it. But then there's another one also on the 22nd, Gungrave Gore. This one is Game Pass, and this is a very action hack and slash game.
Another 360 style game.
Another one.
To get all the
two on the same
like
day.
Bullet Witch. Remember Bullet Witch back in the day on 360? That was freaking amazing. That's what this game reminds me of. I can't wait.
This game looks sick. I'm excited to dive into this 100%. Game Pass is giving gifts in October, giving gifts in November. Fuzzy, are you interested in either of those two games?
Actually, both of them, but I'll probably hit up Gungrave Gore first. Just I like that art style or that overall look of a game, and I'm so surprised that they actually got that in Game Pass. That's one of those that normally you would think that they would have missed out on type of deal, or that it would have been like a PlayStation exclusive type of deal. I'm so glad we're getting them this gen.
Yeah, right on, dude. Yeah, big releases in November so far. We get Ship of Fools, aka Skull and Bones. No, Skull and Bones was delayed. There is a game called Ship of Fools that's releasing. I don't know what that is. Also,
how many games so far in November do we have for Game Pass?
Humankind.
Yep.
Some of these other ones, I don't know, like the Entropy Center. I don't know what that is. The Chant, I don't know what that is. Some of those could be. I don't know.
Yeah. Those are smaller games.
Right. So Humankind.
Yep.
We have Pentiment. Then we have, is Goat Simulator 3 or that's not, right? Okay. So then we have Gungrave Gore.
Probably Football Manager 2023 will probably.
I think that one,
Dark Tide is PC Game Pass. That comes out on the 30th.
I think that was announced already, Fuzzy. The Football Manager was coming to Game Pass potentially. I'm not 100% on that, but I think it was.
Got three
or four pretty big releases so far, and the way it goes, usually there's like surprises every week or like.
Well, that's what I was
going
to say. I don't know if you guys talked about it, but we've got the Age of Empires 4 or Age of Empires anniversary stream.
Yeah, it's coming up.
And Jez was talking about it today, and because that console version has got to come out at some point, and he said that, well, he's talked about it. He thought it was going to be out already, but he finally said today that he had originally heard that they were scheduled for Q4 2022. So if they meet that deadline, either November or December, I imagine they're going to be. That's what the announcement's going to be on the 25th. I'm crossing my fingers.
I remember the language that Xbox used at the E3 showcase when they announced their lineup for the next 12 months. They used the word "and more."
Yes.
Right at the end of it, so like meaning there's a couple more announcements to come for that slate, which it goes, with what we talked about, how there will be a few releases that are announced for Game Pass are going to be surprises. That Gotham Knights prediction, I don't know if it's going to come true. It's just something I think would make a lot of sense. But besides that, then there's other games that could potentially get announcements for Game Pass, and it happens every month. So it's not like, oh, something surprising is going to happen. No, it's not a surprise that there's going to be surprises on Game Pass because that's a monthly thing now. So I anticipate that happening in October and November and potentially December as well. But yeah, we also have Gundam Evolution coming on November 30th. So Gundam fans, that's something you can look forward to.
Shout out to Steel Rain.
Yep. And then Warhammer 40,000 Darktide, which was pushed out of the console release window for November, still hitting PC Game Pass on November 30th. It's still in the Xbox ecosystem. Console version coming later. Still no date on it yet, 100%. But that is going to be a badass game, and that's on November 30th. So that's still a pretty big release, even though it's for the PC right now. Yeah. But December, guys, if you thought November was crazy, December's still heating up with some big releases. Maybe not
the most anticipated one.
Marvel Midnight Suns is kicking it off on December the 2nd. A lot of us are excited for that game. Psycho, have you warmed up to it at all?
Not yet. It's one of those. It's I don't know. I'll have to see you play it and see how you like it. I do that a lot.
Well, Matt's
gonna
say he loves it. He says he loves every game.
Yeah,
I
but until he starts playing it, he says he loves it until he starts playing it. Then he's like, "Oh shit, I don't love this anymore." And then he
You beat Saints Row yet, Mav?
No, because he loves it. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait. If that's okay with you, Mav.
Yeah, you get a pass on that, Psycho. Whatever you want, man. I'm gonna be back day one on this thing. I think at the $70 price tag again for me is like a fuck you type situation again. But I gotta pay it to play it. You know what I mean? That's just an unfortunate thing. And this game could be a dream come true game. It could end up not becoming what I wanted it to be. But I'm not gonna know unless I actually get my hands on the damn thing and play it. And I've been more positive on it lately. I think you have too, Pong, right?
Yeah. And I'm gonna try to again. It's a great time to be broke. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better than right now with all these games coming on Game Pass. But I'm gonna try to budget this one, and then I'm actually gonna try to budget in the Ultimate Edition, because this one I do want some of the costumes that are part of the DLC. Because Magic, she has a Phoenix costume. So of course, since I can't get Jean Grey, I'll do the next best thing with Magic and get her. But yeah, no, I'm back on the train. Like you, Mav, I was off the train, then watching a little bit more. And again, it's my trust in Firaxis that has me sold ultimately on this game that they're gonna do right. And even with the card system that I'm not happy with, I still think it's got potential. And the fact that I can build my team and I don't have to use characters I don't want to use is cool to me. So I can have my favorite characters out of this bunch. Blade, Wolverine, Magic, plus the custom character that you get to create, which is awesome in a Marvel universe that you get to create.
Got a lot of melee there. You might need some range.
Oh, I'll get some. Oh, Magic's got range. She's got range. She got spells. We good. So yeah, no. I'm back on the train, and like I said, I think I am actually going to budget in the Ultimate Edition. It comes with 3 DLC packs. They're going to expand it, which is always awesome. And again, from what Firaxis has done in the past, those are going to be big DLCs, which is always awesome. So that's what I think I'm shooting for here.
Yeah. Jasper, not your style of game.
I'm on the train, but I'm like one hand on the train.
It's like a tactics turn-based situation here. You're okay with that?
I mean, I like Gears of War. I liked Mario and Rabbids, so it's like,
oh yeah,
maybe
okay. Maybe you like Dealfield Chronicle too, then.
No.
Play the demo, Jasper. You never know. Just saying. But you, Fuzz?
I'm kind of on the fence. Like the card thing kind of turned me off. Yeah. But we'll see. I don't think I'm going to be day one, but I probably will wind up picking it up at some point, probably when it's on sale.
Right on.
But there's another game that comes out that same day that I'm day one, and yeah, it's one of those $70.
Oh yeah,
games.
I know which one you're talking about, and that would be the Callisto Protocol. Fuzz, is that it? December 2nd, a huge release dropping that day, made by the original creators of Dead Space, with a new studio now making this game, and it's got a lot of hype. I think this is going to be one of the bigger releases this year. So you're in on that day one, Fuzz, for sure.
Yeah, I still have it on the wish list for the deluxe edition for the extra costume and or outfit or whatever, and something else. I think some of the weapons.
They just showed off the physical edition. You get like a statue of like the dude like shooting one of the zombies in the head or whatever.
I wish they could recreate the scene where he throws them into like the little grinder thing. That was pretty cool in that last updated clip. But yeah, I'm day one on that. Just not sure if I'm doing the deluxe yet or not, but I think I probably will.
Pong is scared of this game.
Yeah, nope. Again, if Steele and I get to 1K, he will play it live, and you can watch his ass scream and fall out of his chair and throw his controller, because that man is as scared of this game as I am. So yeah, if we get to 1K on Living Split Screen, he's going to be playing it. But me, nope.
Yeah, Jasper doesn't get scared. He has no emotions. So
yeah, it's just game, bro.
Psycho, you looking forward to it?
Yeah.
No?
Oh, wow.
Okay. I'm not like super pumped for it personally. Like I think it looks badass. It's just not in my genre wheelhouse, you know.
Y'all not like Dead Space, man?
I did never really get into Dead Space.
Love Dead Space. I can play Dead Space. I don't know about the new one yet, the remake, but we'll find out.
Yeah. Dead Space is one of those games I feel guilty about that I never got into. I tried it a few times playing the first one. I just like could never really get sucked in. Maybe it's just for the time
I missed
that
the
I
first
tried
one, and then I played the second one and third one, and I went back.
Right.
Yeah, Callisto Protocol looks better.
Yeah, I'm not day one on this at all, right? But I will play it at some point. I'm gonna give it a go at some point, right? Hello Neighbor 2 drops on December the 6th on everything, including Xbox.
That's Game Pass, I believe.
I think it is
probably.
Too. Yeah, most of those games are in Game Pass. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion drops on Xbox December the 13th. We get this one.
Why?
Because
they gotta give us prequel. You're giving us a prequel to Final Fantasy VII, and we're never going to see the remake.
They're trying to gauge our interest, Pong.
Right, with garbage, with the leftovers.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's just a rotted carrot instead of a good carrot. Yeah. So come on.
Yeah.
Are there?
But it won't sell. It doesn't sell. I wonder why.
We'll feed these little shits the garbage and see if they like it. If they like it, we'll give them the good stuff.
I don't know what accent that's even supposed to be.
I don't know. It's the idiots. It's the idiot language. So High on Life, December 13th. This game, I believe, could end up becoming a little controversial.
Get over it.
It's already stirred some controversy, but I'm so happy that this game is being made because holy shit, we need a refreshing sense of I don't give a fuck about what you think. We're just gonna have fun and have crazy, stupid nonsense, and this game is all about that. So this is gonna be a breath of fresh air for me. I don't know if I'm allowed to stream this without like putting an adults only rating on my stream either. So I may not be able to stream this, but I'll be playing this game and it's Game Pass day one. Who's on the High on Life train?
Well, I think I am, but
Me.
You can kind of you can stream some of those games because they're like The Witcher and stuff, where like they fuck in the game. Like people stream that. Like how they get away with it?
That's true. I don't know the ratings and like how it works. Sometimes YouTube surprises you. You know what I mean? It's just like they'll let me say fuck 20 times during a show, but then like all of a sudden they could have a problem with it one day if I say that word. You know, like you just never know. But yeah, I think High on Life is going to be potentially a very popular game for the sense that it is going to be crazy off the wall humor and stuff, and I think it'll be refreshing for a lot of people. So It's got a chance just with that regard, period, right?
Also, the Rick and Morty crowd behind it.
Yeah, exactly. And And then to be announced, guys. Like we got a lot of games that are supposed to hit this year that we don't have.
If you go down this list, we'll be here for 4 hours.
Well, I'm not going. I'm scrolling through to see if there's any big takeaways. There's one game that we're going to talk about now that is not on this list that is supposedly about to get revealed, and that's also supposed to be coming out in December. And that game is Need for Speed
Unbound.
Unbound is the potential name for that game, and that's a pretty damn big release in a I guess a whole quarter without any other racing games coming out as well. So a return from Need for Speed would be something that's very welcomed, I think.
We just had Outlaws or whatever come out. Outlaws Dirt Racing.
Yeah, fuck that game. I don't really know what that is. So Need for Speed, man. You guys ready for the comeback? You ready for this reveal? I think it could be this week or next week after that.
Hopefully. I'm curious to see the level of customization that they're going with. And what was it? Jeff Grubb was the one that made mention of kind of like a Street Fighter-esque kind of.
It's an anime aesthetic.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm curious to see how that looks in this. But like any game where you can customize, put different exhausts and whatnot on cars, I'm gonna be all for it. It just feels weird that they're waiting until the last minute. Like they're doing like other studios do and have much better success at doing that type of stuff. EA, sometimes it feels like if they wait, it's because they know it's not good or something. I don't know. There's that fear in the back of my mind that they're purposely like holding. But that I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong.
Like I just kind of have a theory that they're kind of doing it like they did Apex, where they announced the game a few days before and then it just drops to create like a massive hype wave. It's like, oh my god, they just dropped this game, and then it's like out, and then everyone's talking about it for like that day and try to engage more sales that way. I think that could be like a strategy that EA is kind of looking at and be like, it worked really well for Apex. This game's going good for us. Maybe we can do that with some other games.
I hope so. I mean, that would be awesome, but I don't know. I just Need for Speed Heat was, I would say, one of their better ones as of recent. So hopefully this just builds from that, and we'll hopefully find out in the next day or two. I'm looking forward to it either way, though.
Yeah. So yeah, Jasper, you thinking they're going the surprise announcement, hype to the max, all of a sudden out of nowhere, we drop the game and it's good, right?
Yeah.
Good.
I just don't know if that works for Need for Speed. Like it works for Battle Royale because it has a lot more players engaging with it. Whereas Need for Speed, there is that kind of that rumor where it could be like a more open world experience online. So maybe
they're saying it's focused on multiplayer and meetups and that kind of stuff.
So if it's like that, maybe it could work for Need for Speed.
Yeah.
So,
you hyped for this, Pong?
Talked about this last night. I'm excited, of course, because it's Need for Speed, and again, my history with Need for Speed goes all the way back to the Porsche Unleashed days, and even before then. So yeah, Need for Speed has been always a favorite racing game of mine, and just like we talked last night, just like Battlefield, they've had their downs. And they've had their downs for a while, and I've always wanted to see it come back, right? So I'm excited, but I'm hesitant because of the fact of how they're doing this, and it could go both ways. We've seen it, like Jasper just said, certainly could work. It could come out, it could look fantastic, it could be everything that I was hoping from a Need for Speed, but it also could come out and be like, yo, what are you guys doing? But I'm really curious about the anime aesthetic that they're adding to some of the effects as you drift and flame shooting out your tailpipes and all that kind of stuff. I'm curious to see how this is going to work. So yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm hopeful that EA has gotten back on track. Like you said last night, Mav, it's being made by Criterion, which has a long history of making great games. So there's always a chance that this is the one that they finally bring Need for Speed back. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it finally showing off. And we'll probably get a really good feel when they do this announcement finally. So I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait either, Bran. We're gonna get one thing to look out for with that game. If you are a Game Pass member, you will a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, you'll get a discount on it. Also, you should get a 10-hour trial for it, so you
Correct.
can try that game before you buy it, most likely, unless they change that for some reason. So look out for that as well, everybody. That's been the case on the last Need for Speed games for sure. So, all right, well, wow, I had the idea of kind of going through the holiday season because it's like the last day of September, right? And we're going into October, November, December. That's like the big time for gaming. And I was like, hey, we're gonna go through the Xbox releases and all that stuff. I was not expecting it to take an hour and 45 minutes. Holy shit. What is without lot of huge first party games, what a lineup still for the next 3 months though, for us for stuff to play, you
Hell of
know.
a lineup. And we're supposedly getting the Witcher update too, still before the end of the year.
Oh, is that before the end of this year? Oh my God.
CD Projekt Red confirmed it's still on track. They're going to launch that before the end of the year.
And the crazy thing about this, guys, is we got up to December with it without a stop. This is going to continue into next year, right?
Yeah,
because the first half of 2023 is
January. We got Dead
crazy.
Space at least, maybe.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not delayed.
I think January may be one of the lighter months, right? But then like February, March, April, May, like
February's like 6 months worth. It's just dumb. Right?
it's nuts, dude. A lot of that stuff's going to get pushed back just for the sake of it, I think. Well, moving into the next thing. So I was expecting that to take like 45 minutes or so. All right. We got something that I find crazy. You know, we all know the Google Stadia news. You know, Google Stadia got shut down. But there's been a lot of talk about it's Xbox's fault. It's Microsoft's fault for Stadia shutting down. It's going to also hurt their chance with regulators, potentially. Some people think. I don't know. I would think people are going to try and use it. I don't know how much educated regulators, if they're actually doing their homework, would actually let it cause any issues, right? But we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff now on the internet about, hey, you know, Microsoft killed it because when they bought Bethesda ZeniMax, you know, that's what caused Stadia to take a step back. And I'm just like, man, do y'all remember all the conversation that everybody had about Stadia when it was first announced and the pricing model that they had? I would say majority of people were like, wow, this thing is doomed to fail.
Yeah.
Right. Then they announced that they had acquired some studios. They brought in some people. Phil Harrison was in charge of this whole thing as well, which we all know he has a great track record. Absolutely
right there.
fantastic.
That was the end.
Fault.
That was the end.
Fantastic. Fantastic person to put in charge of a gaming division because he has such success in the past with just thing after thing, you know.
Yeah, with killing thing after thing.
Right. So bring him in, you know, he knows what not to do, obviously, from his past. So he's not going to make the same mistakes again, obviously, right?
Fourth time's the
Somebody
charm.
wrote an article. Who was it that wrote an article today? Was it VGC? I can't remember. Somebody did write an article.
I think I saw something.
Did you see that? They wrote an article all on Phil Harrison saying, how does this guy continue to fail upwards? Like, how is this even possible?
Right. It's crazy.
He's the closer. You hire him, he closes the doors.
He closes the deal on getting hired, and he closes the business while he's in charge. And then, I don't know, like it's crazy. But when they announced the pricing model of Stadia, I mean, it was kind of doomed from the get go, and that was the general consensus. Now we also had hope that maybe they would do good and they would have, you know, invest more with gaming and getting some exclusive games out there. But nope. Supposedly they lost interest in that.
Yeah, the biggest exclusive they had was Serious Sam 3, and then that eventually came to Xbox. So,
right, and they had canceled the Kojima game potentially because it wasn't multiplayer. I saw a report on that. I don't know how truthful that is or not. But it's interesting, man. Like, as far as Stadia goes, I think it's just another chalking up to the Google graveyard. And I remember people telling me this at first, like, hey, this is just going to be another Google graveyard thing. And this is why it's bad for Google to try this right now, because they're not going to be all in. And it proved out that they weren't going to be all in. So why are people thinking this is Microsoft's fault? And why are they thinking that it's going to hurt them with the regulators?
Because it coincided when they made decisions to start shutting down their first party studios, their internal studios, and cutting back on what they were doing right after the ZeniMax deal. And obviously, there's no question that Google at that point got a clear picture as to what it would cost them to get serious. But they were never serious from the beginning. They were dipping their toes in. They wanted to see if they could have some success. They were ahead of their time. I don't fault them at all for trying. Again, we've seen Xbox be ahead of their time in a lot of different areas too. And again, I think it was good that they came in and tried something. I'm not taking away, because I think that it maybe have pushed Microsoft to work on xCloud even a little bit more, because we've heard Phil mention Google being a competitor when he talked about how Sony isn't our competitor. Google, Amazon, Apple, they're our competitors. So I think at some level, it even pushed Xbox to do more as well. So I think overall, the idea is great. It's fantastic. Supposedly, everybody who played with it, the technology was better than anything else out there right now. So I think it was good for the industry for them to be here. But the problem being is they were never invested 100%. And people today in the console war narrative, of course, are going to run with this, saying that, Xbox killed off Stadia, blah, blah, blah. But the consensus was from the beginning, because of the business model, because everybody knows Google's history with this type of new technology, it was doomed.
Well, no one was going to switch and rebuy all their games for cloud that runs potentially worse if you have a bad internet connection. It's just like
correct, and all the fears of everybody came true, but Google did nothing to ease those fears. Again, yes, did they buy a studio here and a studio there? Sure, but you can't do that in this industry, and I think Google honestly thought they could do that, but all the talk that we heard is that even to get games to be put on Stadia was costing Google tens of millions of dollars, because third-party publishers didn't want to do it because there was no audience there. And if you don't have an audience for these games to have a chance to sell, well, then you're going to have to pay out your butt to get those games over there, and that's what Google was doing. So the only way they were ever going to be able to make an impact with Stadia would be by jumping into the deep end, buying up a publisher or somebody or multiple big studios out there, independent studios, and have some real exclusives that were going to bring customers in, because their business model wasn't going to attract anybody. Being all digital, cloud only, wasn't going to attract a large crowd, but they chose their path. And so at the end of the day, like I said, I think all this is part of the console war narrative. They're just trying to run with this because they think it's going to help, it's going to help burn up this ABK deal, and that all these regulatory bodies are now going to look at Stadia leaving and be like, oh, see, this is what we're talking about. Xbox is terrible. They're already crushing competition before it begins. That's not going to happen, folks. Okay, that's a bunch of BS here. Because again, Microsoft, as they educate these regulatory bodies, they're going to be able to show how Google wasn't serious about this from the get-go and what it takes to actually compete in this industry. So I think it's just a running narrative for the console warriors right now. It's easy pickings to do that, and to say, see, look what Microsoft does. They're bad for the industry. Yeah, okay, all right, whatever. No, Google tried something new. They were ahead of their time. They weren't fully invested. This is the result, because this industry doesn't take any prisoners. Okay, this industry is harsh. This industry is tough. It's tough sledding for anybody to try to jump in, especially with new hardware. So this is the end result.
They also had a lot of promises early on that it took them years to deliver, and some of them, I don't even know if they ever delivered those promises for Stadia. So
when Stadia came out for the first year and a half, you couldn't even Google search on it. It's made by Google. How do you not have a Google search engine?
When they came out with their new Google, what's the devices they have for the home?
Chromecast.
Chromecast. Yeah. When they came out with a newer Chromecast and they didn't have Stadia built in, I was like, it's doomed.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. All the obvious things that they should have done, they didn't do. Like, it's just dumb. Again, this is Google's history, though. Anybody that's followed Google knows that graveyard in the back is big and deep, and there's a lot of buried tech back there. So this is nothing new. This is nothing new for Google.
I think there was like a thing where like if you paid like the higher tier, whatever, you got like 4K 60 streaming, but that like didn't come till like a year later or some shit. So it's like it pissed a lot of like the higher tier supporters off. It's like, I've been paying for this shit and you're not giving it to me, so I'm just gonna leave.
The other aspect why I don't think this is going to really fly with like regulators in the industry and stuff is because Google is already still a huge player in gaming, period, where even without a successful subscription service, they still have the Google Play Store, and which is like okay, you have the Apple Store and you have the Google Store. There's only 2 players in that market really that have any real market share. I mean, like, you can make a case for like smaller storefronts like the Samsung one or like other things like that, but like nobody uses those, right? It's like either Apple.
I used that one time to get a wallpaper, and then
right. Either you use the Apple Store if you have an Apple phone, or you use the Google Store if you have an Android phone. Usually that's the way it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that all the mobile games are in that storefront and mobile gaming is massive. Guess what, people? It's bigger than console gaming. I don't know if that's going to offend anybody out there or whatever, but as far as like the amount of people that play, mobile gaming is a lot more people than people that play on consoles, right?
Bingo.
So it is a huge, 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 huge market, and Google has pretty much a half market monopoly, because either you have an Apple device or you have an Android device, right? And all the games that are bought on Google go through the Google Play Store, which they get their cut. All of that stuff, right? So these new cloud devices that are being put out there, guess what storefronts they're going to be using?
Google Play.
Google Play. Does Google Play also have a successful subscription service? It does. It's just focused on mobile gaming. The other aspect is, who's the main challenger with this whole thing is Sony, right? And what did Sony tell the regulators? That it's one industry. It's not segmented. There's not different industries. Who still holds the market share in those territories that is being the most challenged right now is Sony, is number 1. So if Sony's out there, number 1, they're the main challenger on this. Number 1 challenger says it's not different industries. It's all one industry. So you're number 1 as Sony. You're number 1 in the market you're trying to battle against. All Sony cares about is Call of Duty, right? Google could try and complain, but then all Microsoft has to say is like, look, what the hell are you talking about? You have like
That's
a
why
monopoly.
they failed. They didn't have Call of Duty.
You have the Google Play Store. Every device out there, that's a mobile device, which is way more than there are consoles, and which it won't even allow a sales potentially through your other storefronts on your devices. It goes to the Google Store. So what are you talking about? You have a monopoly on your own devices, which has like I don't know the ratio of Apple to Android. I think Android has overall lead potentially because there's much more.
Yeah. It was like 60-40 or something.
There's
like
much
that,
more devices out there. So you're talking about somebody that has a dominant market position within the storefront of gaming and one of the biggest market in gaming, which is mobile, right? So I just don't understand like where they could have a challenge, especially considering it's one industry, right? Sony said that, Google said that, Apple said that. They asked the questions. The regulators asked the questions to all of these players in this. Are they the same market or are they separate markets? Everybody's answer, that was a major player in this, was that they're the same. It's the same market. It's not segmented markets, because everybody wants to be able to potentially have a piece of the pie of the other markets, right? That's why this is, because even Google knows that these console style games are going to be eventually buyable and playable on their mobile storefronts. They don't want that segmented into a separate industry. They all want it potentially part of the same thing. They don't want to be boxed out onto anything, and they don't want to be able to have any regulation coming back at them either, right? That's why, like, if they got a checkmate on this
why Sony
thing.
said what they said, because they knew they would box themselves into a corner.
Right.
Because if they ever figure this thing out, they don't want to have to.
They don't want to have to deal with issues 10 years from down the line when this is their main model, right?
Right.
This is Jim Ryan gets on the board of the CMAs.
Let me add this too, because you just touched on it too, Mav, and I saw Spooky in there. I know Asa put out a great video. Somebody clipped his thoughts on it, and how Google and Sony might team up now, and Google might go after Microsoft, because there is a hate relationship there for sure. I mean, again, Spooky, the one thing I would say is that, just like Mav said, Google already responded to the Brazil questionnaire, and they were one of the ones that had no problem with the one. They were one of the ones who actually to Brazil's regulatory body when they were asking about the games and having competition. If Call of Duty was the be all end all, Google listed off alternatives to all the different styles of games and said, no, there's competition in all those different genres, that there is no dominating factor. Even Call of Duty, as big as it is, Google still looks at it as it's not a dominating game, that it's not a singular game that nobody else can compete with. So they've already had their say. So if they try to go back on that now, well, Microsoft can just pull up the Brazil regulators and regulatory questions and be like, they didn't have any problem. So what's going on now? And again, I don't know if Google really wants to open. I'm sure they do in a way, but Microsoft has got as just much ammo because Microsoft wants that Google storefront broken open.
Yeah.
They want it open. They want Apple storefront open. They want Google storefront open. So there's going to be a big war brewing down the road. So I don't know if Google wants to take that shot right now in a losing war, because this ABK deal, even if Google and Sony team up, they don't have enough ammo. And again, Sony's already cut out the main weak point in this whole deal. If they were going to attack something like Hoglaw said, it would have been to say, no, each one of those xCloud, Game Pass, subscription services, cloud gaming, and console gaming are all separate systems, are all separate ecosystems. That would have been the way to attack.
Yeah, because then they could have said they had a monopoly on cloud gaming.
Right, correct. They could be forming a monopoly that nobody else could walk into. But they said, no, that's not the case, like Mav said. So that's all I would say about that.
Yeah.
Well, the other big thing
mistake on Sony's part, probably. But we'll see. If they really wanted to stop this, which I don't think they do. They just want a concession on COD.
Well, the other big thing is when you look at Google, who's the most disliked amongst the UK or the CMA area as far as when it comes to other things in the technology space? It's Google.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are always being sued for, infringing matters when it comes to search engine, or using their store and the advantage of their Play Store to limit or make it hard for certain games to compete with their own products within that store. So they've already kind of worn their welcome or pissed off enough people in that region as far as the regulatory bodies.
Gone after them already for this stuff.
So if anything, them failing is almost like behind scenes, you would almost see CMA giving high fives to Microsoft. If that was indeed the true case, that they are the ones that killed them off, they'd be like, hey, how'd you do that? We need to figure this out, because they seem to be a problem in these, particular areas of commerce. So,
and Amazon is still in the game too, and PlayStation is getting more involved with that aspect as well. And Apple has their subscription service. Google still has a subscription service with the Google Play subscription, and so there's several different avenues that people aren't thinking about. They're only thinking of the console type space, which the Stadia was more a competitor to that, right? With the console streaming and PC streaming, than it was a subscription model. Because guess what, Stadia really wasn't a subscription model, right? And that's the main challenge that people are using against Game Pass.
I saw an interesting poll. Someone that was like really big into the Google Stadia platform, he got like a refund for like $2,000. I can't remember his name. He was on Twitter, but he did a poll where he's like, if you were a Stadia user, where do you see yourself going now? He's like xCloud, Luna, other, and stuff like that. And it's like 80% of it was going to xCloud. So
yeah, PC Game Pass is making a lot of moves too, right? And I think a lot of these gamers are PC gamers first, right? And a lot of them are either play on PC and like the option of playing on like hey, I have a crappy old laptop, but I can still play badass games on it, right? Or potentially having that as an option to play these types of games on a TV as well. So xCloud is making that a great option to go to. Luna is trying to make a play there.
The other one was GeForce, yeah.
Yeah, then there's NVIDIA as well, right? You have these new handheld devices coming out. They're going to be optional as well. We'll see eventually. Maybe those will have docks as well too. I don't know if that'll be a thing, but lots of the industry's changing, right? It's been a thing for a long time, and it's not really news, but there's all this regulation is about figuring out the new rules. And because Microsoft's the leader in that aspect of gaming right now, they're being looked at as how to dictate these new rules, right? And
I do think
sure
though that with Google shutting down, that this potentially delays the cloud like being as like it's going to delay like the intake of cloud like into modern day like times. Like it's going to push it back a couple years for sure.
Yeah. That's a good
unless
point.
Unless the Orion tech that Microsoft and Xbox got from id does come to fruition, and all of a sudden we see a big jump in. Again, xCloud's okay for me. I have some really good experience. I have more good experience than I have bad, but I still do have some bad. But if Orion takes them to the next level, much like Stadia, then we could see that catch up. But yeah, you're right, Jasper. Without Stadia, it is a setback for sure.
Yeah. Wow. So I think we're all in consensus. This is on Google, not on Microsoft.
Sure. Look how they did the devs. We didn't even talk about the devs coming out and saying nobody notified us. There's a dev that has a game that was supposed to come out today, I think, or the next
Hot
couple
Wheels?
days.
The Hot Wheels game was they just announced it like yesterday was coming to Stadia, and then they made a funny ass quote tweet of their own thing with like just like a look like what the hell?
What? Yeah. See. And that's the problem. And again, all that ammo, I mean, again, it just builds up. Like Google, they did. I mean, it's nice that they're refunding everybody. I gave them the props last night for refunding everything. That's something that obviously needed to be done, but not every company.
They're doing that to avoid lawsuits, probably.
Yeah, probably. In a lot of ways, they probably are. But these devs were hung out to dry. They were absolutely hung out to dry. Now all these devs got to
They just wasted millions of dollars, probably,
to go find another publisher. I'm sure Sarah Bond and the team over there at id.
Well, a lot of the games are already out, to be honest.
Well, even the dev work to bring it to Stadia would have cost time and resources, right? And then hey, we're gonna bring it to Stadia. Like Google's like, hey, yeah, come on. Oh, hey guys, I know your game just was announced as coming tomorrow, but we got this news to share that we're not gonna exist in a few months. I hope that's okay with you that you spent the last year and a half working on this port to bring the game over here. Is that cool? You good? No?
And I heard they shut down the store completely, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't buy anything.
Just bleep.
You can't buy
Yeah,
anything
today.
more, 'cause why keep it open if you're going to be doing refunds?
Right. Yeah. But those devs, again, that's all lost revenue that they didn't account for, right? That's all lost revenue.
So a lot of them are trying to port these, like users that own these games, over to their existing storefronts, like Ubisoft had talked about that as well. As some of the devs said, maybe there's a talk of reimbursement to them, but who knows for sure what's going to go on with that.
Yeah, the one dev that Pong, I think you were talking about, it was coming out in November, because the one game from Alex, I forget the name of it. It starts with a T. I think it was like Trumbull something. But anyways,
Tangle Towers or something.
Yeah,
like
Tingle Towers or something. That's already on Xbox. It was he put out a statement. It was just another place to sell their game, so it wasn't like no big deal that Stadia is like, we're done. But there were other people that chimed in like, we have a game coming out in November. What the fuck?
No, I know there was at least one dev that had a game coming out within the next week that was like caught out of the blue that said, what the fuck? Like, really?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, we saw PlayStation do something similar when they decided to close the PS3 store down and the PSP store, because there were still people making games for the PS3 and PSP and stuff, and they're like, well, when were you going to tell us?
Yeah,
it's like, if you're closing this down and you sold us the hardware or the dev kit to make the game, couldn't you had to have known like a month ago when you sold us the hardware to make the game that this was going to happen. And then they wound up backtracking, and then still they eventually closed the store. But it's a nightmare. Hopefully these dev teams will be able to recoup some of their losses by either porting it elsewhere, or somehow, even with the refund, that you can use the Stadia stuff. Maybe somebody will figure out how to like mimic it for like.
I'm sure there's probably a tax write-off or something you can look into to get that back.
And there's a bunch of the bigger games too. I know a lot of the publishers are working on ways to get the information or get the saves and stuff. They're trying to be able to get the, your progress moved over to a different system.
Like Destiny, for example, would be a good
already
one.
Implemented that, so Cyberpunk players on.
I think Destiny already transfers progress though. So
Yeah. So, but I know there's a couple bigger games that we're trying to work on that too.
I know Assassin's Creed was really big on Stadia. They always kept promoting that game, so that's probably one of the games.
How about the Destiny players? Because Destiny was the biggest game on Stadia, so Destiny's good, right?
Well, Destiny already carries over, so
it does carry over. That's what I thought that was the case, anyways. Yeah.
All right.
Big mess for sure. But like I said, I'm sure Xbox is working those phones and trying to get some of those games over. So I know the Pixel Junk game that was exclusive to Stadia, they already said that they're looking for a new place to put their game, and I'm sure Xbox is all over that for sure.
Now, was the new Assassin's Creed, or they were making a new Ubisoft was making something for Stadia?
They're making it for Netflix.
No, Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Netflix. Yeah.
All right. I knew it was a streaming service. I forget which one it
was. So besides that news, we also have another thing. Me and Pong talked about this. Was our big topic last night on PM and the PM, and we talked a lot about this Halo rumor revolving Unreal Engine. The BR mode that's supposed to be coming out from Certain Affinity, that Certain Affinity recently had talked about, and not saying what it was, but they said that they've been working for 2 years on a big project within Halo Infinite, and it's their number one thing right now that they're working on. And it's their biggest thing they're working on, and they have the creative lead on it as well. And a rumor came out. Was it actually yesterday or the day before that the rumor came out?
Was it Tuesday?
Maybe. I'm not sure. But there was a rumor that came out this week from a YouTuber, Sean Dubs, and immediately thought it was all BS. But then Jez got involved. Immediately had said it was not accurate, but then kind of backtracked a little bit. Well, let me look into this a little bit, right? And then he started looking into it and seeing what could potentially be true from this. And there was one aspect of this that he believed could potentially hold some weight, which was that Halo BR game that Certain Affinity has not announced yet. Jez has referred to this before also as Project Tatanka, would potentially be moving into Unreal Engine 5, which would have caused a year or 2 or 3 year actually delay. Because I think it was originally slated for 2022, but then this new slate would be 2024 or 5, I think is what it said. Is that right, Pong?
Yes, 2024, 2025, right. If the move happened. Yep.
Okay, so if this move happened, which Jez said there's reason to believe there was a reset. We don't know 100%. He's trying to still dig and get information. He actually digged a lot and found a lot of different information out there. As opposed to what the specific thing he was looking for, that they talked about on Xbox 2 podcast today. I recommend everybody listen to that show because he dropped a lot of little nuggets there. But what I want to ask is not necessarily if this is true, because who knows? It's all speculation, right? Big truck assault on this thing. But how would you feel if the Halo 5 or Halo Infinite BR mode came out and didn't feel like Halo Infinite, right? Would it, like, it's like a different experience, right? Would that be for me? I'm okay with that. I don't want anything in Infinite specifically, like campaign content or multiplayer content that's within Infinite itself.
It all just depends on how they transfer your progression. Like if you're going to use your Spartan skins that you already own and stuff, it should probably feel the same as Infinite. But if you're just going to create like a whole new marketplace and skins and all that stuff, like I think it's okay to make it feel a little different. I don't think that would be a problem. But if you're going to use the same assets and everything, I feel like it kind of needs to play the same.
Right. So this would involve probably having your own progression system, I would think, within the BR mode in itself. Although 3-Bit in our chats did say that Unreal Engine 4 was used for the armor customization in Master Chief Collection, right?
Yeah.
So it's possible they could still get the progression system to work across, but still have the assets used in different engines. Maybe they just have a slightly different look within them, potentially.
That's kind of where I'm thinking that maybe this like leak or rumors coming from. Maybe they're using Unreal to build out the kind of the back
some
end of the
aspects,
game.
and Unreal's got mentioned with some things,
like,
right?
Yeah, maybe like Unreal got popped up and people were just kind of assuming it is switching over, but they're just using that to build some other stuff for the game and not necessarily making the entire game in Unreal.
Which would fall in line. Remember who took place as the 343 design lead, or the 343 studio head was the guy that fixed Master Chief Collection.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe they took what he learned there using those aspects and like, okay, we're going to use Unreal for these things. And then maybe, okay, a certain affinity starts, okay, we're going to use this with our things too. Maybe potentially Unreal has been mentioned with some people in the studio and maybe signals got crossed. However, it's also possible that, you know what?
When you start playing the game at telephone with 500 people in 343, it's going to get messy, you know?
Right. 343 is messy to begin with, right?
Yeah.
Certain affinity, I wouldn't say is as messy as 343.
And then you start linking it to a
things.
YouTuber that heard it from some other dude that works there. It's like that whole game is just going to be like miscommunication up the ass.
So I still want to know that question though. Like if Halo Infinite played one way, right, and that BR mode was like felt like a different game, but it was still Halo like looking and stuff, right? Like, would that be cool with you? Like Fuzz, like you're not a big Halo like gamer to begin with, right? But like, is that something you would be more interested in or less?
I think I would at least give it a try. I think the big thing is with a BR game, it might be used as a hook to attract, a non-traditional player to Halo. So it can feel different to some extent as far as the gunplay, but don't make it so it feels like a completely different game. But there's some things that should carry over. So that way, when they do get hooked on the BR and they're like, oh, I want to check out what the campaign is like, or I want to see what this other form of multiplayer is like with Forge, it's not like a night and day type of deal, but at least there is some sort of like crossover or cross-pollination or however you want to call it type of thing. But yeah, I think all this stuff just comes across weird in the sense that they let go of the guy, I think that was like the head engineer for the Slip Space engine. So does that mean that they're kind of scrapping it, or is it like, all right, dude, you kind of screwed the pooch, we need to move you out, and now we're gonna have to fix this from the inside out kind of thing, or whatever the case
that's
may
the thing I've been trying to find out, and they've been trying to ask questions about that, right? Also, and there's been silence, and we don't know if the person was replaced. We don't know if there's a search out there for another engine lead. If they have somebody else, like maybe he did his main work, or he moved on to a different project, or who knows. None of us know anything about it other than he's not there anymore, right? So it would be interesting to find out more info about that, but they haven't made it public yet, and maybe it's for a reason. Like that is the most interesting thing, to connect those dots. Because it's like very like, if it's ironic and coincident, and if it's not, it doesn't have anything to do with with the other, then it's very coincidental, right? But at the same point, like it doesn't guarantee anything that this rumor is true either. You know what I mean?
Maybe only the mainline Halo games needs to play like Halo.
Yeah,
but I would argue
100%.
that at the same time that those have changed drastically throughout the years. You go play Halo C to Halo Infinite, it's like completely different now. So
I was talking about that last night, Jasper. Like the mainline Halo games, like I want them to have that Halo feel. But if you experiment with different studios and doing different things outside of that with different experiences, I'm cool. I would actually welcome that 100%. What about you, Psycho?
I was not here. Remember, I was using a restroom. What was being said?
Okay. I was sorry. I didn't see that in the chat. Yeah, we're talking about the Halo Infinite Battle Royale rumor about possible switching of engines for that to be into Unreal. How would you feel with a different experience in Halo outside of the main campaign using Unreal Engine?
So we kind of touched on this a while back when we heard that Unreal Engine was a thought, and they used a version of it for Halo Infinite, and then they scrapped it and they went back to Slip Space, or they went to Subspace. So we've heard, that it's been there because they couldn't get the feel of Halo with Unreal Engine. unless they have found a way to make Halo feel like Halo within Unreal Engine, then I could see them possibly switching.
So
It's just
would you be interested in a Halo BR if it didn't feel like Halo, if it felt like a different
um
experience?
well, see, Halo, the thing with the BR, um it can feel different because it's a different style game, kind
Right.
of like Halo Wars, kind of like even the mobile games, they didn't feel like Halo per se. So
That's a different
BR,
genre, though.
yeah, well, BR is kind of,
Yeah, but it's still a first-person shooter at the end of the day.
yeah, but also
Call of Duty feels like COD, Battlefield feels like Battlefield, Halo feels like Halo. Those engines, a lot of times, like have a very specific certain feel to it. There's like a connected the dots of the first person shooters and in the Apex engine, even a different games completely, right? You got that one from like what's the one with the uh mechs and stuff like that, right? Then you got Second
Titanfall.
Extinction, and then you got Hunter as well. I think that one maybe
Hunt Showdown.
is that
what you're talking about?
yeah, is that in
That's Crytek.
Crytek? It was CryEngine. Okay, so there's Second Extinction and then that other one that studio made, right? They're using that Apex engine, and they both just like have that same feel with the guns, right? Like arcane games all kind of have a similar feel using the what engine do
Yeah.
they use? Do we know? Is
Oh.
is it Unreal or some special engine? Like
Arcane used the Void engine back in
Yeah.
the day. I think
Mhm.
it's called the Void engine, but they're
Void,
moving
yes.
to Unreal for Redfall, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
is
good.
correct.
Maybe the game will actually feel good.
But my point is like, okay, so within a Halo core experience, it's no guarantee that a Halo built in a completely new engine for gameplay purposes would feel like Halo, right? There's no guarantee because a lot of games in Unreal feel like Unreal games, right? Even though it's very flexible, you can have all these different things. There's
But
certain
Halo 5 doesn't
aspects.
feel like Halo CE, and that's
But
in the
you
same
have,
engine.
but there's still like an intrinsic Halo feeling to all of them, right? That
Yeah.
like they all create somehow. I would argue that the slip space is the most Halo-y feeling thing ever, right? Within,
Yeah,
It
within
definitely
that.
feels more like the original than it
Right.
does like Halo 5.
So
for sure.
can they recreate that feeling? Now, here's the thing: if within the main game, I would think it would matter more. If they can't, then in something else that's a completely different experience or different mode, because then you're like, hey, this is new, this is different. I'm exploring and we're trying different things with Halo, right? And I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? Like I want id to make a Halo thing, right? That's going to obviously feel different. I want there to be more Halo RTS stuff out there. I want more top
Rainbow
down
Six
RTS.
ODST style game.
Yeah, I want SWAT based like style game like that, dude. That'd be amazing. I want I want a horror game in the Halo universe. I want all these different things with Halo, right? And obviously, you're not going to use the slip space for all that different stuff, right? And if you have different shooters out there within Halo, I'm completely fine with that too. But I would get nervous if the follow up to Halo Infinite or the Halo Infinite campaign content add-ons were all of a sudden different, because I would be curious, how is it gonna how are they gonna maintain that
Yeah.
feeling of Halo, right?
No, yeah, that's the thing, definitely uh with slip space. It almost feels that it was very ambitious and they wanted it, like they got it working, but it just can't do anything outside of Halo. Like the normal shooter. Like you can't add in, like if they want to do drop pods, if they want to do other elements like that, something is not allowing
I think they could. It just takes time.
Totally, unless it's like really like totally totally hard to build and code for this engine. Like it's totally like if it's to a point where you need a fucking a master's just to build this goddamn engine, I don't know. And maybe that's why the lead engine builder was let go, because it's like you're supposed to build an engine that was easy to code for. It was easy to do this, and you'd have done the opposite. And maybe he was on. It was like the last panic mode up into him leaving. That he's like, fix it, and he's like, I can't. Sorry. And then he's like, I'm bouncing. And I mean, it doesn't.
I fucked it up later, everybody. Sorry.
That's what it feels like. I mean, because it just doesn't feel, because there's just like little things that are happening now that, we got the, just a little like, the lagging with
desync, bro.
Desync. Thank you. I fucking spaced out. Desync and all this other shit. It's like something is off, because I remember that beta when that came out. That beta was fucking amazing. When we played it, I was like, this is the most fucking Halo the Halo's been.
Well, the gameplay is still good when it's not having the server issues, or
honestly, I had connections
content.
issue during the entire betas.
We weren't having.
I don't really notice it too much. It comes up every once in a while. I think the players like you, Jasper, are more prone to notice it a lot more than me. And I think some people use the excuses when they get killed a lot too, like oh, that's because of this. Also, but I will say that there is some issues obviously with that need to be addressed. I don't think that's the biggest problem the game has. I think the biggest problem the game has is content. And that's definitely an aspect of it, but that'll get fixed. A lot of games that came up a lot of times when we're playing COD. Also, you know what I mean. All shooters deal with that off and on a lot, so I think that's something they'll eventually get fixed. But the content problem is the main thing, right? Once they get that addressed, I think everything will be all right.
Yeah, I think the content definitely is lacking, but with slip space, they need to. It's like they have to go back to the drawing board almost, trying to figure this thing out, get this engine to a point where anybody can develop on it for it. And that, because you got certain affinity, they're like, yo, we're fucking struggling with this. Why is it this hard? You know what I mean? So something is not adding up. I wish 3-Bit was here, because he definitely would know a lot more in the fine details of what could be the reason. Well, actually, maybe he's not allowed. So, I mean,
yeah.
But anyways, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I just wish they had the engine running smoothly. This way, if the content's the only thing that is holding back Halo's being a really, really solid game, that's definitely where Microsoft wished they were at, where they just have to make some content and be back on board and start pumping out every 3 months, new season, like they promised us.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to get to. So we'll see if they get there. Hey, guess what, guys? My wife's telling me I got to end the show because we need to get ice cream, and they close in 30 minutes. So I'm not gonna
fucking Uber Eats.
I'm not gonna say no. That shit'll
You can't
melt,
order
bro.
ice cream through fucking.
You can actually.
You know how much I've done a lot of deliveries with Uber Eats for ice cream.
Yeah.
So
7-Eleven, bro, all the time. Picking up Ben and Jerry's.
So I have no AC, but
Dairy Queen deliveries and stuff there for Uber Eats as well. But hey, we're gonna get out of here. We have had an awesome 2.5 hours hanging out with the chat. You guys,
if it's snowing, you get free ice cream at Dairy Queen.
Do you really? Yeah. Well, shit, that's why we never get free ice cream here, because it doesn't damn snow here. But yeah, I'm gonna run out.
Not up in Minnesota, they'd be out of business.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna run out and get the ice cream. I'm not gonna say no to today, as fall days especially, right? So we're gonna have some ice cream for my wife and daughter and me. I'll partake. Why not? But let's get everybody out of here, chat. You guys rock. Punk Soul, where can everybody find you, bro? Thanks for hopping in as always, dude.
Yeah. Sorry I'm late again. Great show, brothers. Great to hear everybody talk about some of the topics that Mav and I got down to. There was a lot of news this week that we haven't even touched yet, but this was a great show. Great breakdown on all the games coming again. It's amazing when you hear them all.
Yeah, dude. I love doing that too. It's like, it really brings it to the forefront.
You just don't realize it until you start hearing them, right? Like listed out, like exactly what
I don't know how I'm going to afford all those damn games. It's like so many damn games, right?
A lot of them are coming to Game Pass though, which is great. So, but chat, you guys were absolutely amazing. Thank you all for dropping in here, your comments in there, and your conversations were awesome as always. Thank you for being here. Listen, Pong Soul, Xbox, Pong Soul, Twitter. We got to get Mav out of here. So tomorrow morning's the time. I didn't get a video out today. It's been a crazy week. But I'll probably have one out in the morning reminding everybody. But please set your reminders and alarms right now for Living Split Screen. Me and my brother from another Steel Rain will be covering all of these topics and more tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, 3 p.m. BST time. Be there. Tell a friend. Bring a friend, please. Shop podcast tomorrow night. PTK Blam's channel. Fuzzy Belvedere. Myself. And this week we have Web Dave. Outbreak Podcast will be on with us, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. Next week, you know the drill. Tuesdays are all good things green, whether I'm there or not, because it's double barrel game. Mr. Boomstick, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time for Xbox Factor Podcast. Be there every Tuesday afternoon. And then, of course, Thursdays are PM in the PM. Me and Mav, Pong and Mav in the PM, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time, right here on Fun Speculations channel. So be there. We had a great show last night. Go watch that. Otherwise, it is the golden age of gaming. People, get out there and enjoy it this weekend. Have a fantastic weekend, whatever you're doing. Play what you love what you play, and we'll talk to you all real soon.
Heck yeah, man. And awesome to have you back here this week, Psycho. Tell everybody where they can find you on Twitter and all that good stuff.
Chat, thanks for coming out. You guys are phenomenal. Love y'all. And Tatalos, Malaka. So find me. Yeah, you know what's up. You find me social media everywhere. So Psychonauts8. You can find me Monday, 10 o'clock on FSP, and Friday, and then something else. I'll have to get with some people, and I'll be 2 shows I'll be doing here in a little couple weeks. So yeah, keep an eye out for that.
Awesome, dude. I can't wait to hear more about that. And Fuzzy, the always fuzzy one himself, keeping it calm, cool, and relaxed. Where can everybody find you, sir?
Just thank you for having me. Thanks for everybody that joined us tonight. You can find me on Twitter, Fuzzy_Belvedere. Like Pong said, the Shop Podcast tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on PTK Blam's channel. Like Psychonaut said, on Monday, FSP at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then back here next week at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fun Speculations channel for Xbox Ultimate with the family.
Don't forget your new show with Boom on Monday.
Oh yeah, Monday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and what is it? The lunch break special, and on Friday mornings, breakfast with Boom, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sorry, thanks, Paul.
Yeah, right on, dude. And the lore master himself, one man wrecking crew, Call of Duty. Where can everybody find you?
Yep. You can check me out, Lore Jasper on Twitter, Lore Master Jasper on YouTube. I'll be posting some more Call of Duty clips where Mav exposed me. I got to back up that, put some proof out, and so stay for that this weekend. I'll be putting that out, and check that out. That's about it. Everyone said everything else, so
yeah, right on, guys. Appreciate you guys as well, always for partaking in our conversations and being a part of what we do here on the channel. You guys freaking rock. Thanks for your time. And chat. Again, amazing. Thanks for everybody again for the well wishes and support that y'all showed on Twitter today with the loss that we had. But it means a lot, to see people come out and just give their condolences and all that kind of stuff. So thank you for that. Thank you for being here for everything we do. Like and share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff as well. All the channel members, love you. You freaking rock as well. All the speculators out there. And hey, we'll be back as always with more content this weekend. Going to be streaming some games. Mondays FSP Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Thursday nights Pong and I at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Fridays always here on Xbox Ultimate Podcast. Always make sure as well if you aren't that you do are. I can't even speak. I got ice cream on the brain. Remember that this show is also on audio platforms as well, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, all that kind of stuff. So if you aren't able to catch the show live, you can always catch it on or replay that way while you're driving or whatever it is you like to do. And then also we do have a supporter out there on audio platforms as well. So shout out to the supporters out there on audio. If you want to support the show on the audio platforms as well, there is a link on anchor.fm. So you can find that on Twitter and everything as well. I appreciate you guys. You freaking rock. Love you. Have a good one. Take it easy. Bye.
Go play Hard Space Shipbreaker.
Shitbreaker.
Cleveland Guardians, ALDS champions. Woo.
What?